Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Irish Hotspur on this Black Friday. I know a lot of people are probably out doing their shopping today and stuff like that, but we did move the fan show from Monday to today because, Monday, very boring day. We'll all agree there was nothing out there. It was like, a dead zone out there. So we said we'll bring it to you closer to the game with a lot more to talk about, and boy, do we have a lot more to talk about. Now, I would also put out there for all you members that are tuning in, if you've ever wanted to come on before, maybe you've strayed away a little. We've only got a couple in the back end right now. Yeah. So now is your chance to get in and get on and come and have your say. The link is up in the community section of the channel. Just go to the community tab, click on that. You'll see the link if you're a fan show member, and it will bring you straight into the back end. And last but not least, I do have to be off by 9 p.m. this evening. Hopefully everyone can understand. We have this thing in Ireland called the Late Late Toy Show. It's a big thing. It's an Irish thing. It's the thing everybody does on the build up to Christmas. So I do have to be off by 9. And I know some of you out there are going, no, we want more, Dave. But look, it's just for one day. There's plenty of other stuff coming your way. We've got the stuff for members. We've got the Fantasy League coming your way, pre-match thoughts. Tomorrow I'll have my predicted lineup as well. Going to be a tricky one to pick as well on that. And then, of course, the match day content starts back again Sunday, which is what we're all waiting for. Jacko, how are you this evening, my man? And how was your Thanksgiving yesterday?
Fabulous intro, Dave. The Thanksgiving was good, nice and chill, nice to be around family. Thankful for everything in life, thankful for Spurs, thankful for this channel, this community. And I agree with you. Well said. The queue for the fan shows can be very healthy. It can be long at times, and that can be a bit intimidating. But right now, only just a couple in the back end. So please, please, please come on and have your say if you do want to chat with us. Friday night, if you're having any sort of kind of worries, any sort of kind of pre-match sort of anxieties before this game, maybe things that you haven't heard mentioned around other channels or even by Dave or myself, feel free to come on. Let us know what your thoughts are ahead of this game, or just in general, what's kind of happening around Tottenham Hotspur. But very good intro, Dave. And yeah, looking forward to this one. And also, please, everybody, come on, grab that link, because Dave would also probably want to know how many people he has lined up for before he leaves for that toy show later. But good to see you all, everybody. Plenty in the chat already. Good to have a Friday night fan show. It's a nice vibe on the Fridays.
How was Thanksgiving, Jack, yesterday? What did you do for the day?
I played some pickleball, which is the new kind of racket sport, that everybody that's young to old, that's playing these days. Played that with my mom.
What? Just quickly on that, Jack. You mentioned that to me a couple of months ago. I was like, I've never heard of it. But since you've mentioned it, I hear it everywhere. Simon Jordan talks about it. He's supposed to be an expert. I hear loads of people playing it.
I'm not surprised Simon Jordan is playing pickleball, on a regular basis. That definitely can be the crowd the pickleball can sort of can occupy as a Simon Jordan type crowd. But I enjoy it. It's fun. Just then afterwards, walk my brother's dog, with my mom, just sort of spent a nice day in Seattle, sort of did some cooking, did some prepping for the Thanksgiving stuff. And with Thanksgiving, sort of the night usually ends pretty early. It's usually pretty chill, around kind of the evening time. So yeah, just pretty relaxing for the most part. And it was nice. Thanks for asking.
Good. I know every one of you out there that was celebrating it yesterday, I hope you equally had a great day. But look, let's welcome some people in. Let's see who we've got in. Tuning in with us tonight, we have Daniela Zito. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Daniela. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Come on, you Spurs. I'm unfortunately going with Tottenham 1, Villa 3 for Sunday.
Sorry about that, Daniela.
First, send on the bank details. We'll send you over what we owe you for that plug. Only messing with you. Really do appreciate it, though. It really does mean a lot. When you guys help us out with that sort of stuff. So thank you very much on that. Look, with the amount of injuries, I think we're all going into this next run of fixture, because they're just piling up, mounted up. They're even worse since we come back from international break. So I think we're all going into this next period, especially with some of the games we've got coming up. Villa flying high, Man City going for the league title, of course. Some would say is that a title race game. We'll wait till we get there. Then you've got Newcastle, you've got West Ham, so you've got some pretty big games coming up. So it's going to be a very fun period is what I would say. And look, I don't blame people for, maybe feeling a bit down. But like I said to Jack earlier on, just and it's only sometimes, but just sometimes, when everything's going against you, it can galvanize people, so let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Now,
For
a lot
sure.
of people would say, well, Dave, it hasn't done in years gone by, and I really accept that. I won't push back on that one. Wembley once this evening, boys. Sadly, our lack of depth will again be exposed on Sunday, I fear. Do you know what, my man? I completely agree. I think very much it could be. And look, I think me and you again only had a conversation about a Jack that we're going to upload for the members. I think, where we were
Yep.
sort of discussing saying that, we're hearing a lot about, in the media the last while, is Postecoglou naive? Is Romero too rash? Sonny got a lot of stick for the game against Wolves and stuff like that. And I was only sort of saying, like, let's actually deal with the crux of the issue that we've been here before. Although me and you were getting excited and enjoying what was going on, we did say October, November will tell us everything we need to know, because it's usually around the times where things have gone wrong for us in the past. We struggle over these couple of months, and now that we're here, it'd be a good test of squad depth. And if we don't come out the right side of it, I would urge that people just back Ange Postecoglou, and all the noise should be made about squad depth, and then hopefully come the transfer windows, we'll start getting what we really want, right?
Yeah, no, it's been the conversation from a lot of us, I think, over the course of the season is when will the squad depth be brought up? When will it be kind of questioned and sort of tested? And it has in kind of really dramatic kind of sense. And
Yeah.
there's kind of a bit of me that's yes, like we have been, I don't know, proven right or anything is the right sort of phrase, but I think we have, some of our fears have come true with the squad depth, definitely so. But in the manner in which it happened too, though, it's kind of almost catastrophic. It's just, how do you account for, your number one center back, number one creative midfielder, left back, other center back? It just, everybody dropped like flies in that Chelsea game. And then afterwards, we had more injuries seem to occur, more injuries seem to pick up. And also, it's a really, really tough fixture period to also have these injuries. It'd be nice if we had, Burnley, Sheffield United, and Bournemouth, like we had in the beginning of the season, maybe kind of lined up in this sort of fixture period. But we don't. We have some of the toughest teams around the Premier League to be dealing with these injuries. But so Wembley one, yeah, I could see the lack of squad depth being exposed on Sunday, especially maybe somebody like Unai Emery, who will definitely try to target, I feel like, certain players, like maybe Eric Dyer, like maybe a Ben Davies, even other players in the team, he might try to target and might try to expose. But yeah, I'm going into this one hopeful, but not as overly confident as I think Dave and I have been in sort of the beginning stage of this season. So Wembley one, yeah, the squad depth has come to fruition, or it's come to be exposed in some sort of manner. And let's just hope it's not exposed too much, and we're still able to grab 3 points. Big up to you, though, my friend. Thanks for the support.
And I know some people like to quote me after games, going, "Oh, Dave, but you said we'd win." So quote me, cautiously optimistic is what I am going into this weekend.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Good clarification.
D-Men TV, big up, my man. Good to see you in the building. Wembley one, I really appreciate the support, brother. Like I said, it really does go a long way to everything we do here. Like, we don't have any big wigs behind us. Everything we do is off our own back and stuff like that. So, every little really does help trying to push us forward and inspire us, so I really do appreciate that, my man. Big yourself up. And if there was supposed to be a comment, please just put it in, feel free, and we will bring it up, my man. Big yourself up, brother. Mark New says, big up Dave and Jack. Big Ashley is injured now. Oh my God, who's next? It's a bloodbath at N17. Time for Big Ange to dig deep and find a decent squad for Sunday. Get in there, you Tottenham. Yeah, look, this is the talking point that I think I'm definitely going to bring up on Sunday before the game is the accumulation of injuries. What do you put it down to? You put it down to the training. Dorsey spoke yesterday how competitive it is. They're more or less playing at match pace and doing things the way it is in match, physicality-wise, tackling-wise, stuff like that. Is it down to the medics? Is it down to the physios? Or is it down to the sports science that's not working, or the people that's implementing it maybe is implementing it wrong? Something's going wrong, because we shouldn't be carrying this amount of injuries. Usually when you don't, like, we have no League Cup to play this year, we've got no Europe. Usually you should be okay. Usually your injuries really only start to hamper when you've got European football. You're playing every 3 days. So why are we at this point? So I definitely think I'll bring that up on Sunday. Mark, big yourself up, my man. Great to see you in the house, and hopefully you are keeping well, sir. Ash, big up. Ash, he says, hi, Jack and Dave. Hope you're all, you had a good Thanksgiving, Jacka.
Thank you very much, Ash. That's very kind of you. And if you are available this evening, feel free to come on and have your say. I had a great chat with you last time. Thought you had some fabulous insight on the game and just sort of some of the problems right now in sort of the Spurs squad and some of the tactics and everything. So if you are available, if you are free, feel free to come on. If you're just kind of listening in the background, really do appreciate your support, Ash. And also thanks for grabbing the membership as well and just joining this community of ours. Big up to you. Thanks for the Thanksgiving wishes.
Big up, Passion. Look, make sure you come on when I'm on at some stage as well and have a conversation with me. I feel jealous that Jack got to have a great conversation with you. And I actually went back and I watched it. It was a very, very good conversation. So please, when I'm on sometime, come on and have a conversation. Surely I don't look that scary. Big up, Ash. Daniel Horton says Dorrington was good enough for the squad versus Wolves. Give him a chance and let Dyer warm his seat.
Big
Look,
up,
Daniel, I
Daniel.
don't think many people know where I'm at with that. That's personally what I would be doing. But look, part of me wants maybe him or Phillips to be kept back till after the City game, because the thing is, if they come in and have a good game against Villa, we're all going to expect that to happen against City. And when you come up against Erling Haaland, it's a different, your second sort of full appearance in your senior team. It's a lot to ask, and it's one that could very well go wrong. And he could be demoralized in the air, in behind, strength, power, everything else. So, I don't know, maybe part of me thinks Postecoglou could be holding these guys back till after that Man City game is out the way, personally. But I do agree with you. I would like to see someone have balls like that to do it.
Yeah, if you're thinking about, if they might be put up for the slaughter, would you rather just put Dyer up for the slaughter? Somebody that, maybe you wouldn't care as much about crushing, the confidence of. But Daniel, I would like to see the youth be given a chance. There's so many guys that I think deserve it more than players like Dyer and others that have stuck around this team for a long time. And also shout out to Alaska, my man. Hopefully you're all right up there. Big up to you, sir.
Oh, yeah. Big up, Daniel, my man. I love Alaska. It's one of my favorite places on this earth, my man. You lucky boy. Big up Moondog as well. Big up Dave and Jack. I can see CELSO scoring. Jack, would you be putting a sneaky bet on a CELSO goal this weekend?
I mean, Moondog seems to have much. He has better returns than I do, so I shouldn't really be questioning him at all. He does a much better job in getting his Spurs bets true. I never get my Spurs bets right. I usually get other, predictions correct. But Moondog, I'm going to let you have this one. While I'm in Seattle, actually, I'm not able to put in the bets, unfortunately. So I'm just going to, stay clean this weekend, save a bit of money, just sort of watch the games normally. But CELSO scoring, I don't see it happening. But when it does happen, Moondog, I'll be thinking of you, because it seems like you always get these right, more than
Did you got the last two correct? He got Brennan Johnson and Kulu, if I'm correct.
I feel like it's been the last three. He got Brennan Johnson, got Kulu, and I swear he got another one too. So Matt Moondog, not going to question it. Just saying, I don't see it happening. But I can't wait to be proven wrong.
Moondog, here's what I envision happening tomorrow. You're going to text me what you're going to put on. I'm going to run down to the bookies while I have time tomorrow and do it. So feel free to message me, my man. Let me know what the secret sauce is this weekend. Big up, Moondog. Absolute legend. Good to see you, and hopefully you and Charlie are having a great time. These cold winter November evenings, and hopefully you're settling in and burying down the hatchets for Christmas, my man. Great to see you in the building. Big up, Derek boy. Big up, my man. Mr. Hutchinson says, big up, Dave and Jack. Let's slap Villa. Come on, you Spurs. Look, I really hope so. I really do hope so. It is asking a lot this weekend. We're carrying, Papa Matasar, the latest one. Aston Villa's midfield is absolutely brilliant. So it's going to be tough. But you know what, Derek? Like I said, cautiously optimistic, my man. Cautiously optimistic. I'd still put us down for a 2-1 victory for sure. Absolutely love that from Derek. He's getting me G'd up. Iceman, good evening, sir. And he says, good evening, all happy. Damn Friday. Hope things have calmed down in Ireland, Dave, and hope everyone had a great week. Yeah, really sad news about what happened yesterday and all that sort of stuff. Look, I'm not. Just all I can say is, my thoughts and prayers go out to the children and the two adults that tried to prevent it as well. Thoughts and prayers go out to them. After that, I'll be honest, I'm not really going to comment on it. I'm here to talk football, but I really do appreciate it, my man.
Very nice.
Absolute legend. Absolute legend.
Sir.
And Jack, he's overtook you. He's going to be absolutely buzzing in the fantasy league.
Iceman, feel free to humble me once again. If you feel like, offering me any sort of fantasy advice. Clearly, Moondog has offered us some, betting advice for this weekend. I've decided to reject it, Moondog, and, I'll probably be proven wrong once again. But if you have any fantasy advice, feel free to send it my way, because I'm definitely struggling, being humbled
Ice man, you're not allowed. You're my
Yeah,
my
that's
man.
right. That's right.
He's
That's
my
right.
secret
That's right.
guy. You have to
That's
get
right.
someone else, Jack. If you want it, you have to put the call out for
Good
help.
point. Good point.
Big up work, Dan, as well. Great to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. Keith Edwards, good to see you, sir. Really appreciate the donation. And he says, Anne's press conference looks like a couple of youngsters may start, Jack.
I haven't been able to watch the press conference yet, Keith. I have, though, looked at some of the quotes from the press conference, and Jamie Donnelly did get a mention, and it did seem like he will feature at some stage this season. Whether it will happen tomorrow, whether it will happen this weekend, whether it will happen in the Man City game, kind of not really feeling that. I think he will probably still have to wait a little bit longer, but I feel like he's going to give it a chance, especially too, Keith. Let's say CELSO just has a stinker and just doesn't really, show much of anything. I think Postecoglou would probably put him in sooner rather than later, actually, because he knows that Jamie Donnelly, like Dave has said too many times, he's too good for the under 21s, Jamie Donnelly, right now. He's just tearing it up. He needs to be challenged at some sort of different level. Whether this is the right level right away for him, maybe not, but I think he is good enough. I do think he is good enough. And I think he should be given that chance when the chance does, present itself. Maybe not for this weekend, but would like to see it sometime soon. And Ange seemed to allude to that.
Well, look, here's what Ange said, Jack. He says, we're down on numbers, so guys like him will get more of an opportunity to make an impact, as I said at training. And if he continues to do that, then the opportunity will come for him. So, look, it's all down to Donnelly now, just keep training, keep doing everything that got you to that point. Don't change anything. Maybe up your level a little bit, if you can, that'd also always work in your favor. But, just keep training away. The opportunity will come. And once that opportunity comes, I have no doubt the kid's going to take it. And to be honest with you, Jack, I know there's already a lot of sort of support behind this kid already, but it's going to become huge because just even if he doesn't do anything on the ball, even just his work rate off the ball is so infectious. So, look, I hope the opportunity does come. I've been calling for this for quite some time, actually, Keith. Ever since the days of Jose Mourinho, I was at the point. I was already fed up with Dyer and Davies back then. As if it's not working back then, give some of the other guys a chance. So, look, I just hope we do get to that stage because it is for the benefit of the club. I love nothing more than seeing a guy who's come through the academy out there playing in the first team, representing us because he gets it, right? He plays for the club like it's ours, and that's what I want. I want the more, the better. So, because it avoids the piss taking around that we've seen from the CELSO with Tottenham so far, Ndombele and all these other idiots that have come to the club, it stops that. So, I would love nothing better. As you can see, I'm passionate, but I'm going to shut up about him now. But I do hope he gets the opportunity, Keith.
Big up, Keith. And then
Big up,
Pat Whelan here is saying, time to see if this manager practices what he preaches. If Dyer or Davies start ahead of Dorrington, my estimation of him will diminish. Here's the thing, Pat. I don't think it's a good situation that Ange does find himself in. It's not easy. It's a brave choice he would have to make if he were to go for these younger players. Because like Dave has alluded to, very, very tough games to throw them into. It's not easier fixtures around the Premier League to sort of, throw them into the fire. But I'll be honest, at a certain stage, if Dyer and Davies just continue to drop points and if they continue to prove, what we've already known about them, that they aren't good enough to really fill in, I think you just have to bite the bullet or you have to be brave and you do have to go with the youth. I wouldn't be surprised if he does stick with Dyer or Davies and maybe both again, because again, these tough fixtures and everything, but eventually they probably will sort of let us down and they probably will, not be adequate enough for what we will need. And it's time to give that chance then to somebody more deserving, which probably is our younger players. But I'm not going to really just throw Ange under the bus straight away. I would be disappointed, definitely. I'll be honest, I'd be disappointed, but I'm not going to throw him under the bus or, be cursing his name or anything like that.
Do you know what? I'm the same. I wouldn't.
I'd be sad.
I'd be disappointed. I'd be disappointed, slightly angry. It's just the way I am. But it's at the end of the day, he'll end up suffering the same fate as other managers gotten by if he continues down that path, and just hopefully he gets it quicker than the other. But I'm 100% behind Ange Postecoglou. Pat, good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. Hopefully life is treating you well down under, and hopefully you're good, my man. Let me know if you watched the FA Cup final the other day. Big up, though.
Big up, Mr.
Also,
Whelan.
sorry, just quickly, big up Lee Smithy
Yes.
Smith as well. Great to see you in the building.
Good
And
man.
Tottenham Tom Jack, happy Friday, everyone. Dave and Jack, fan show. Love them. Look, we absolutely love
Friday
it as well.
night.
We love speaking to you guys, don't we?
Friday night, Tom, hopefully you enjoy fan shows in general, but also the Friday fan shows have a certain vibe to them and everything. That's just nice. And we get to sort of have a bit more, kind of anticipation of the weekend. We don't have to wait as long. It's just right around the corner here. So it's good vibes on the Friday night. Hopefully you're keeping well, Tottenham Tom. Andy Wen is joining us as well this evening. Good to see you, Andy. Mile High Hotspur, big up my homies. Much love to you both. Game day is almost here. Yes, it is, Leo. And hopefully you're all right this evening. And hopefully you had an okay Thanksgiving as well, my man. Big up to Colorado and big up to the Mile High Hotspur, all the boys over on that great channel. We also have Blackjack Maestro saying it's down to Levy and the lack of squad depth. I mean, we brought it up plenty over the summer. It was probably the big sort of highlight of the kind of the summer business was, did we really do enough in certain areas when it came to the squad depth? I think it's shown that perhaps we didn't, Mr. Maestro. We have Jutero ETH saying doesn't help that referees don't punish consistent fouls against us. Dave is a big fan of the agendas, and I think he's been very adamant about the referees being very harsh as well as just inconsistent towards us. It feels like ever since we benefited from that Liverpool fixture, sort of we knew that we were never going to get a call pretty much ever again, and it has come to be true. That seems like the referees have sort of been a bit sort of not as lenient towards Spurs as they were maybe in the beginning of the season since that Liverpool fixture, and I'm not surprised. I kind of predicted it, to be honest, Jutero. Yeah. And Mick Dundee,
look, you don't need to get me started again on the referees, Jack. I've got a big Sunday ahead of me, so
don't need to ruin your Friday thinking about referees day. Mick Dundee says, morning lads, come on you Spurs. Big up to you, Mick. Hopefully you're all right this evening, sir. Palio125, big up lads, come on you Spurs. Hopefully you're all right, Palio. And then we have Cheese Room John, big up to the Cheese Room boys, saying, hey, evening boys, big up to you, Cheese Room John. And he was saying something about our flat caps on Twitter to me, saying that, I forget what the comment was, but he was saying that, forgetting it now, but he had a funny comment about our flat caps on Twitter, Cheese Room John, and he was giving us praise for our flat cap choice this day. But I sort of said I only have one flat cap really, so it's not much of a choice actually. But
I've actually got quite a few, believe it or not. I've got a grey one, then I've got an old Irish style one. I've got the fancy one that I wear with suits that you sent me a couple of Christmases ago, Jack. And then I've also got a bad boy on the way for Christmas. So Stevenson's Day, if we've got a game, get ready. I can't wait to unveil it.
Flat cap fashion show maybe for the members only, something like that. You get like a good runway, Emily can set something up for you, do a little strut and everything with the flat cap, something like that. That'd be fun.
If I'm going to embarrass myself like that, either the followers have to raise good money for charity and we can put it to a good cause, or a sponsorship can come in and pay me shitloads of money so that, I don't care about the embarrassment.
Get Dave in the suits, start rocking the flat caps. That'd be fun. Fashion show. King Hoddle says, should we field a midfield three of PEH, Bentancur, and Gio due to Sarr being unavailable? I would actually be quite excited by that because it is likely to create opportunities for the front three. Dave and I have sort of, as much as the midfield options can be a bit mix and matched, like it's not where we lack the most depth, or it is where we have more depth, should I say. And with the amount of injuries we have in that midfield, especially with Sarr, Basuma, as well as Madison being out, the fact that we can still field, a midfield of Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Gio, I'll be honest, after only one summer under Ange, it's an okay situation to find yourself in. It's actually more just up to Gio CELSO, I think, to step up, King Hoddle. I think Højbjerg has put in okay enough performances this season that we know he can be good enough in certain positions. Maybe he might play the number 6, not sure, but he's put in some good performances this season. Bentancur, we know we've been just desperate for it to come back. So we're just, really excited to have him, but it's really up to Gio, King Hoddle, to have a good game. And especially against that Villa high line, a lot of opportunities for him to play balls in behind. Rudy Toot saying, evening all, Ange has been bigging up Skip during the Villa build-up. Might be starting on Sunday. Another worry if so. The only quote that I saw, though, Rudy Toot, was kind of just about Skip and just maybe he was asked, is Skip going to get a chance or is Skip maybe, considered for the lineup? And he sort of did, from what I could tell from the quote. And again, I didn't actually watch a video. I more just read the quote. Kind of just seemed like a bit of a, he's been working hard in training. He's a good lad. He has good attitude. I I mean, maybe it's just me, maybe it's the only quote that I saw, but it didn't give me an inclination that he was going to start in this next game.
Basically, what he said, Jack, is working hard, waiting for his opportunity when that comes up.
And you could say that with anybody.
I wouldn't read too much into that. Look, if he starts, he starts, but I wouldn't read too much into. I'll be honest, I don't think Postecoglou fancies skip at all.
Mr. Candy saying, big up, guys, watching from Malaysia at 2:30 in the morning. Wow. Thank you, sir. Really do appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully you enjoy these Friday night fan shows. Drew Law's in the house. Big up to you, Drew Law. Big up the lads, and big up the chat. Big up to you, Drew Law. Hopefully you're well this evening. And then the one and only Jacob from United Spurs of America. Big ups to you, sir. Hopefully you had an all right Thanksgiving. And I would imagine, in Texas, bet you guys have some good food for Thanksgiving. I'm very jealous because I know a lot of the barbecue joints, they do the turkeys for you. It's lovely over there for Thanksgiving. I've been very jealous.
Texas as well.
Yeah, I think they probably have, Dave, the barbecue joints. They do the roast turkey for you. They do like 24-hour smoked turkey and all that sort of stuff. It's incredible. Like it's they know how to do it over there in Texas. I'll tell you that. They know how to do it.
Oh, you're gonna make me hungry, boys, Jack. You sent me the picture of your dinner at like 1:30 last night. I was sitting there in bed. My stomach was rumbling. I felt like going out and making a roast myself, lad.
Very cruel. Very cruel.
When we finished here this evening, Jacob will be streaming at 10 p.m. So, guys, make sure you get on over and check that out and continue on the late night vibes with Jacob. But look, that's enough of my motor mouth and Jack as well. So we're going to start bringing on the guests and we're going to get them on and have their say. Just the last thing, bit of housekeeping has to be done. Feel free to support us in many different ways. You can smash that like button, which basically helps us fight the algorithm. You can smash that subscribe button, which boosts mine and Jack's ego. Or you can send in a super chat or grab a channel membership. Great way to support your two boys on everything that we do here. Super chat basically means you dominate the chat. Everyone has to see it. We bring it up. We'll have a great conversation on it. Sometimes it's a great way to also push back with the guest if you don't agree with what they have to say, or push back on me when I'm arguing with them, or, become a member of the great community that we're building here. We will be looking at maybe getting a good group chat going for everybody. We like to think we've got a good community here, so feel free to grab a channel membership and become a part of this community. But look, like I said, enough of my motor mouth. Let's switch over to a more subtle voice, one that people prefer hearing. Let's bring on Mia and hear what she has to say. Good evening, Mia. Good afternoon, Ethan. I'm not sure what to say. How are you?
I don't know if people prefer it. I'm just, maybe.
Look, your voice is less harsh to listen to than mine anyway, so I'd say they definitely prefer.
The subtle approach, he said.
You are going to the game on Sunday. You can. Did you pick the wrong game to go to now, considering all the injuries?
Well, of course I picked the wrong game too, because Romero's not going to be there.
Oh, so, even worse.
Of course. I obviously didn't know that in advance when I got the tickets, but it is what it is. I'll have to catch him at another time when as I'd love to see him, of course, anytime I want to go there, I want to go see Romero. So, yeah, I'm hoping it'll be a good game because I don't want to go to a game and be like, no, it was really rubbish. But I'm concerned, of course, with the amount of injuries that we've got and obviously suspensions as well. It has made this game a lot more difficult. And I think if it was our starting 11, I would have been much more confident. I think I would have said, yeah, we can give anyone a game at home with 11, our starting 11. But yeah, it is going to be, like I say, I think it is going to be a little bit tricky. But I think we've got enough to win. I feel like we've got enough in us to win it because I think if we do change that midfield, I think we're not going to change the defence. I just can't see him do it. But we have got a Doji back, so that's a plus because he's got the legs, the strength, and he does go forward. We've got Porro, and so the wingers, they could be important. The wing backs, so I think that could be a plus for us.
On the centre-back issue, just for the sake of pushing back a little, Dorrington, Emerson, maybe, some would say he could play there at right-sided centre-back. Did you see any of them changes, or did you just see us going with Dyer and Davies again and hoping that they played last time? They probably do a bit better this time?
I think that he's going to pick Dyer and Davies. I'm sorry to say. I know none of us want to hear it.
I'm expecting it.
I am expecting it now. I did want to smash stuff the first time I saw it, and then I was a bit like, I've sort of shown like the stages of grief when you just get to acceptance. I'm sort of at the acceptance level right now because I just accept that's going to happen. I would more want because I think that the midfield is where we can make that difference because we've got the availability. If Sar's available, I personally would play Sar Bentancur and the CELSO, because I think that offers us enough in that midfield to make it a little bit more dynamic than what it was. So for me, I think we can change it in that way. Yes, we can't do the pressing. We haven't got players that will bring the ball out from the back like we have been used to. But when you've got Bentancur there, he's very good on the ball. He can take that ball, turn on the ball. He's very, he's just got he's a bit more silky. So I think if we have a Bentancur, that will help us. That will help us majorly with hopefully trying to be a bit more forward thinking, because a lot of the time when we've got more defensive players who are trying to, we are going to be thinking about the defenders, but if you've got forward thinking players, hopefully that keeps the ball away from the defenders, because we'd be too busy trying to attack than we will be trying to defend. So
do you know what, me and Jack were just having a conversation before this, and I sort of said the same thing. Originally I would have said with Sarr fit, put Højbjerg there and put Bentancur in Madison's role, and if need be, he can drop back like Madison does at times and pick up the ball. But now with Sarr's injury, I just think you can't go with Højbjerg, Dyer, and Davies again in that quartet in there, looking for them to progress the ball. It doesn't work, and I do think Bentancur has to come in there. And weirdly enough, it might actually help us and it might help the back line, because the more we have the ball, right, the less exposed they are, the less you're asking of them. Now, look, I know it's not a great barometer to measure them with, but at the end of the day, it needs must. And I actually agree with you on that. I think playing Basuma or Bentancur in the six can help us massively.
Yeah, no.
What do you do in 2 positions above that, though, Mia? There's a lot of controversy. Do you go with the CELSO? Do you go with Højbjerg? Some people like me would say scrap the CELSO, bring in Donnelly. You heard what was it, Rooty Toot maybe mentioning Skip. What would you do in above that?
I wouldn't play Skip. Absolutely not. I don't want Skip, and I don't want Højbjerg to play because of the way they play. I would play the CELSO. I know it's a bit of a one that we don't know what he's going to come up with, but he has got a little bit more to him. And if need be, I would actually change it. If we find we're struggling or we want to change it, we could switch and put Kulu in the middle, because he has done that. So I think that we have got that as an option. But I would go with Lo Celso personally. I know it's, like I say, not a popular opinion, and I'm hoping that Sarr's fit. Like he said, he's a bit of a not sure. He said he's got a knock. He didn't say injury, did he? He said he's got a knock. So I'm hoping it's nothing serious, because he's got that engine, those legs. He's everywhere, Sarr. And I think we need that, because they've got some speedy players, and they've got John McGinn as well in the middle, and he's quite a tough player, isn't he? He's a bit of a tough guy. So we need to have as many good midfielders as possible, I feel. So for me, I would 100%, if we can play Sarr, Lo Celso and Bentancur, because I think that's the best way forward. I think to sort of grab that a bit more of a creative midfield and not be so. I call it a dry cracker. Last time it was like a bit of a dry cracker. It was like stick to the top of your mouth and make you like, that's the that was the midfield for me. It wasn't exciting. It weren't fun. It was just like they just passed backwards, sideways. It's like, I don't want that. I want players that are forward thinking, because ultimately that is how Postecoglou likes to play, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry, Dave, go ahead. No,
sorry, just quickly, I think Pat Whelan here has got the wrong end of the stick. He's going off here in the chat, saying we were joking all further down. Just quickly, Jack's not saying you can't have that opinion that you originally had, which is this one. All Jack is doing is just giving you his opinion on it. That's all. It's just a bit of back and forth. He's not saying you can't speak about it. Not saying you can't come on and talk about it either, my man. So I don't know why you're blowing up whatsoever. You're entitled to your opinion. We make that clear to everybody. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But the whole point of having these YouTube channels is that there's dialogue. We can speak about it, whether we agree or disagree. But no one's telling you what you can and you can't say, by the way. Just letting you know that now. Sorry.
I think I more or less agreed with you too, Pat. I think I was just trying to say that I wouldn't be just calling Ange out entirely. And I think I did say I too would also be, I think it was this comment originally. I think I did say I'd be disappointed if Dyer and Davies did start again, but I'm also not going to just be raving, off of the rooftop, about Ange about it. It's not something that I anticipate doing. I'll be saddened if I have to see them play again, but I just sort of was trying to make the best of kind of, the bad situation that we're in here, Pat. So I think to the most part, I actually was trying to agree with you. Sorry if it didn't come across that way, my man. And like always, I think on this channel, we do try to, allow everybody to have different opinions, especially Steve D knows. Steve D knows that for sure.
And also me. How many times do I come on here and argue with Dave?
That's the thing. If you disagree with us,
come on. Very welcome. It's very welcome.
If you disagree with us, come on. That's what Mia does. If she disagrees with me, she comes on and she has it out with me. Right? Come on, have a conversation, my man. Sorry, Mia, we're taking away from you and your overall point. Jack, you wanted to come in off the back of what Mia was saying about
the midfield
on Højbjerg. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, Dave and I were saying, Mia, that like if the back line is going to be what it is, which isn't, our best sort of version of it, it's going to be more the midfield kind of has to step up and win the game. And I actually thought maybe with this midfield or this high line that Aston Villa like to play, let's say if CELSO, Bentancur, and those guys are on their game, they could have a good chance of winning the game for us because there's a lot of space to play in behind. They can control the game. That's kind of where our strength is, I think, in this game is actually going to be in the midfield.
Don't forget, if we've got Brennan Johnson, that's the speed there as well.
True.
He's a zippy little player. So that's what I'm saying. Like there is definitely positives to it where you can see, okay, there are areas that we're lacking, the back, obviously. But there's obviously areas that you think, actually, we know that Udogie gets forward, Porro gets forward. We've got Brennan Johnson, and if Bentancur, he played really well for Uruguay. So I think if he started to come back to the Bentancur that we knew from before, I went and watched him last year at Everton. That was the only game I got to last year. And my God, watching him in real life is a thing of beauty. Oh, it's like chef's kiss. He's just so silky on the ball. Me and my brother were just like, wow, he's such a good player. So yeah, man, like obviously I think that we have got that. We have got those positives to look at. I know that everybody's thinking that we've got loads of injuries, and I get it. Obviously everybody's entitled to their opinion, but me, I try and stay on the positive side of the fence, and I think we're gonna, like I said, I think we've got enough to beat them.
And Moondog feels the same way, saying, "I'm not worried. We will win 2-1. Come on,
That's
you Spurs."
That's my scoreline, Moondog. You're stealing my scoreline.
Onas Bailey also going for a 2-1 win tomorrow.
There you go.
It doesn't feel like a game where anybody expects Spurs to smash them, right? No one expects Spurs to smash Villa, but a 2-1, it is possible. It is possible.
All the pundits would say different, Jack. Paul Merson doesn't think we're going to win. Everyone that was on the Gary Neville podcast think we're not going to win.
I don't listen to Paul Merson. I might as well just listen to my dogs talk. I might as well ask the dogs for an opinion and get a better.
Do you know what it is? You know that Spurs news now, and you go in there and there's all that stuff there. He's always quoted in it for some reason. So that's how I know about it.
Minnie, what do you think? Yeah? Yeah, you make much more sense than Paul Merson.
But Mia, today, Ange Postecoglou also sort of spoke about, that the transfer plans for January are underway. They've, what's his name? Jack, you're better at the pronunciation. The director of football.
Oh, Johan Lang. Yeah, Johan Lang. Yeah, whatever works.
That he's been brought in to do all the stuff behind the scenes. So, basically, I'm hoping that he means come January, we're ready to hit the ground running. Do you think this January, with a bit more planning around it, or there seems to be a bit more planning around it, do you think it's going to be different to maybe ones that we've come to expect in years gone by?
Yes and no, because I don't think we're going to go out there and buy loads of players. No, I don't think that's going to happen. However, I think that we are going to get a centre back because it's been reported today that we're looking at centre backs, that there's already been a meeting about it. So I think if we get a centre back in, I think that is obviously, I think that's something we really do need. And for me, that is the key position. I'm sure it is for literally 99.9% of Tottenham fans. But did you see as well that it's been reported that Richie is actually happy to leave?
Seen that.
So I reported on that this morning. So if you haven't already, go and watch the video. But yeah, so if he can go, if the Saudi team does come in for him, that obviously leaves us with a bit of money and an option. I think if we're going to get anybody, I think we're going to get somebody who can play across the front three. I don't think we're going to get an out-and-out striker because everybody we've sort of looked at, a lot of players anyway, we have been linked with, are players that can play all across the front three. So I think.
Is there anyone that you maybe you think is the guy we should be going wholeheartedly after this January that could come in and make that difference?
Joe, what? Off the top of my head, I can't think of the name of the player that I obviously researched them when I was doing my videos, but Joe, what? My memory is absolutely rubbish. But if you go back and look at my videos, I did do loads of videos of different players that we have been linked with. Also, we've been linked with that Grassi, but he's a bit older, so I'm not entirely sure about him because he's had one good season.
Yep.
We've been linked with the American guy again. What's his name?
Or
is it
Jonathan David,
Jonathan David,
the Canadian, the Canadian guy.
Canadian, sorry, my bad. Sorry, my bad.
The Canadians don't like to be called Americans.
I'm just a silly English person. I apologise.
Jonathan David, another striker that we've been linked with.
We've been
for
linked
sure.
with him.
Ivan Toney, I saw today. I didn't believe that.
Ivan Toney, apparently we've dropped our interest in him. So, because we're not going to pay that money they want for him, let's be honest. He's going to either go to Chelsea or Arsenal, in my humble opinion. I don't think he'll come to Tottenham, to be honest. So, we've been linked with loads of different players, but mostly there was that Turkish guy, the winger, but I think he can play across the front three as well. He's quite good. I can't think of his name now. Like I say, names elude me. I could just barely remember my children's names, to be fair. But so we have been linked with a lot of different kinds of players that are attacking. So we'll have to wait and see if he does go. But it's very interesting that it's come out now that he's saying that he's not attached to Tottenham. So yeah.
You know what? I just hope he sets a precedent. Other people start coming out and saying, I'm willing to go too. That'd be nice. But look, on that, Mia, though, when it comes to Richarlison, it has to be a player sale this January, though, right? It can't be another loan deal just to get him out of the club and make room for someone else to come in. Can't keep making that same mistake where we get these guys seeing out their contract, but we loan them out for them to see out their contract. Surely we just have to take did the best offer on the table in January and let him go, right? If that's the case.
Yeah, I think that we will sell him. I think that will be somebody we will try and recoup some money. It's unfortunate it hasn't worked out for him. I don't mind. I like him as a person. I wish him nothing but the best. Honestly, I've not got a dislike to any of our players, to be honest with you, in that way, because as a person, I don't dislike him. He's actually a really nice guy, but he hasn't worked out at Tottenham. And I think that it'd be best for everybody for me, I think 30 million is where I land on it. I think 30 million is about right. I don't know if people think that we should get more or less, or if they would accept less. But if it's like 28 million, I'm not going to haggle over a few mil.
That's realistic too.
Just take him.
I think that's realistic, Mia, because that would be like a bid that comes from probably a non-Saudi club. You would think, right? They'll probably throw in like 28, 30 million, offer half of what Spurs originally paid for, knowing that he probably could maybe have a better spell at just a different scene, a different environment and everything. But if you're going to get the 60 million, get all of your money back, that's really only happening if he goes to the Saudi league. And we only we can speculate whether Richarlison will take that sort of move. But you are right that the tendency is, or at least the news that we're getting, is that Richie is kind of basically given up by the looks of things, that he just doesn't see, his it's just, I guess he's figured out, or maybe he's just come to the realization that he's had his chances and he hasn't taken them, and maybe he just needs a new set of a new scene, really.
Yeah, because I think as well, if it was down to Postecoglou and everybody was fit, we all know that Richie wouldn't be his choice, right? It wouldn't be Richie. I just don't think it would be. I think he would pick Brennan Johnson over him. I think he would even choose Solomon and then Perisic over Richie if he had the choices. If everybody was fit, I think that Richie wouldn't be first on his list, not second or third. So I think he probably gets that hint that he's probably just being used because he has to be. And that can't be a nice feeling for the guy, let's be honest.
Is it the missed chances that Ange has probably just gotten frustrated with him? We've seen a few times where Ange just like putting his hand over his head.
Probably he's touched on the ball. He's probably not got what maybe Postecoglou thought that he might have had. He might have thought, I can see this guy. He can, maybe he has got it, and when he has had that chance, he hasn't shown him. And I think that Postecoglou is quite ruthless. He has been known to be quite a ruthless guy, where he says, right, you get your chance. If you don't prove yourself, then that's on you. And that's the way it works, sort of thing. So I think you have to be. You've got to, haven't you? Like at the end of the day, you've got to do what's best for the team, and that's why he said he doesn't get friendly with the players. Like, he's more of a parental figure where they don't cross a line with him because he doesn't want to have to make those difficult choices. If you like somebody, it's a bit like you asking me to pick between you and Dave. Like, I couldn't do it. It's not fair because I like you both.
Who are you picking at center back between me and Dave? Who are you picking at
center back? I couldn't pick. But if it's two people I don't know and I don't really care about, it's going to be easy for me to pick, right? It's not going to be as hot. Like, if I've got that thing with them where you chat to them and you get to know them a bit more and be a bit more friendly. But if it's like I have to make a ruthless decision between two people and I haven't got that, it's easier to do, which I get why he does that. He has to do that for the betterment of the team because he has to do what's best for the team. And
as well, it's in a crucial position up around that front line, so that money has to come in and it has to be reinvested. We can't keep, having these guys out on loan, not contributing and stuff like that. And look, I'm sure for Richarlison as well, by the reports that were put out there, I'm not sure maybe that he's given up, but he knows it ain't working for him mentally, and I think he just wants out at this point, Yep. And so look, it's best for both parties. But Mia, maybe last question. What was going to ask you? Postecoglou doubled down on his tactics today. He says he's not going to change. He says it's such a young project, and I have to persist to play this way regardless of injuries and suspensions and stuff like that. Do you agree with that, or do you think he should be adapting to the personnel that we have to play because of injuries and suspensions?
Was actually interesting because me, Ellie, and Kate did a show the other day with Ash, and he was saying that actually he does kind of adjust it a little bit within games, but not exclusively how he likes to play. So he makes like little adjustments if he sees something's happening that he thinks isn't quite right. So he will adjust it, but the way we play, no, we all want us to play that football, right? So it's going to take time to implement it. And the only way to do that is practice. What is the saying we say? Practice makes perfect, right? So it doesn't matter who we've got there. We have to keep playing and keep at it because then you become more fluid and better at it. So there's no point of us going back. It's a bit like going from one to the other. Like, we can't go and be more defensive now. Why? Because then we're going to have to go back to playing attacking. And then no, we can't do that. He has to stick to his principles anyway. Postecoglou, he does stick to his principles, and he might adjust games, like I say, but overall, the way we actually play, he wants to play a certain way, and that is that. I think that's the way he sees football. Is that it should be attacking, it should be good football. So I don't think he will change. And I think that's fair because I think, like I say, practice makes perfect. We are so early on in this project. Like, this is like literally fetus stage. And it is going to come and have little bumps in the road, We are going to have bumps in the road. And I expected that anyway. So it's not, I think most people, we've got our expectations up because of people, obviously, with the games that we won. Me, I always said the same and said we'd finish 6th, 7th. Because I expected bumps in the road. But I think if we would have lost games at the beginning, lost 1 or 2 games at the beginning, then lost a couple more games, I think for me, people definitely would have been less off the edge about it. I think people would have gone, okay, bumps in the road. Because we've won all those games, everybody's going, oh my God, we won all those games. And I think it just, I think that's what happened. Obviously, everybody's entitled to do that, right? I'm not criticising anybody. I'm just kind of like how I see it. So personally, I think that's where people maybe forgot that we're going to have these bumps. People maybe temporarily forgot that we're going to have bumps, and temporarily forgot we're early on in this.
I'm of the opinion you can get carried away and still realise now, look, unfortunate circumstances with the pylon of injuries, and just realise where we're at. But look, I agree with you. Go on.
Can I just suggest one thing, Ellie? Yeah. I'd give Højbjerg a hard time because you speak about it. If you speak with me about Richie, I say the same. He's not good enough, and I don't want him at the club if he's not good enough, right? And I've just said he hasn't got a good touch. I don't think he's got what Postecoglou wants. So actually, it's only because we discuss Højbjerg and you're so adamant about Højbjerg being a good player, and I'm adamant that he's a good player, but not for this system. That's the difference.
Well, they are, Ellie. Anyway, Ellie, you, me, and Kate can have that out on your on your debate show. Anyway, that's the next topic I want to see discussed. In fact, that's the first topic I want to see discussed next week. Big up, Ellie. Big up, Mia. But Mia, it's your time. where can people find you? Why do they need to get over and subscribe to this channel of yours, this great channel?
Because I like to have good conversations with people. So if you enjoy good conversations, please come over to Spurs Between the Lines. I like opposing views as well. I'm always up for discussions with people, and I like to keep them, decent. I like to have our discussions as healthy debates. If people want to obviously disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. I do a members calling myself every Wednesday at 10 a.m. UK time. I also do my 8 p.m. show with Kate and Ellie over at Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. Please make sure you go over and subscribe to her as well. So yeah, I do a different show. I do my previews, I do reviews. I'm also going to be doing instant match reactions now as well with the girls. Nice. So yeah, I do plenty of different content for you to keep you if you want to just listen while you're doing something. It's always nice to have something in the background, and I hope that you appreciate my opinions, because I think it's good. Like I say, I listen to people I don't agree with as well sometimes, a lot, because I quite like listening to different opinions, because I find it interesting. So even if you don't agree with me, come over and listen and hear me out.
I'm a big advocate of listening to, people that you don't agree with, because sometimes, sometimes you might be enlightened and see something a little bit differently, or sometimes. But honestly, it was a really pleasant listen this morning when I was having my coffee before I went off helping the old lad this morning. So people do get over there and please check it out. There's a lot of constant content coming out there, so you shall be satisfied.
I'm a big advocate of listening to Mia, and if you don't believe that, I'd say give your head a wobble, like she would like to say, over on her channel. I'm a big advocate of hers. Well, Mia, unless you have any sort of final opinions, I think we'll let you go. Thanks for getting us started.
My final thing will be, it's actually coming up to me starting this a year ago. So next month will be a year since I started doing this. So I want to say a massive thank you to you guys again, because without you guys, you wouldn't push me to do it. So I just want to big you guys up, because honestly, you've been a massive, massive back of mine and a massive help. When I have little days where I'm feeling a bit meh, if I message you, Dave, I know you're always like trying to talk me round and be like, come on, you'll be all right. And so, yeah, I really want to say, make sure you do subscribe, because these guys are really good guys. They're genuinely good guys. And you don't always find that in people, but I've definitely found, like I always call them my version of Kylie and Jason. I loved Kylie and Jason as a kid. So they were my two.
Better than what King Huddle calls us, Laurel and Hardy. So I'll take Kylie and Jason all day.
But, like I say, Kylie and Jason were my favourites as kids. When I remember them getting married, was one of the first episodes of Neighbours I watched. So that's an absolute massive compliment to you guys that I call you my Kylie and Jason.
And, well, look, thank you for giving up your time as well. Since you've joined us, on this community, you've given up a lot of hours, and you've, contributed to a lot of debate shows and post-match shows and a lot of different content. So we also appreciate you for that. I mean, it's amazing that you've been able to start your own channel and everything, but just by you coming on the fan shows and just giving up your time in a lot of different ways, it's why the channel is still here today, because a lot of people do give up their time and help us out and everything, and you're absolutely one of them. Thank you, Mia.
And it's like I said, it's likewise as well. I'll just add to that, you've always been there when we've needed you, even me personally, if I'm feeling a bit down or whatever, always been there. So it's absolutely back tenfold as well. So look, really appreciate it, and long may this friendship blossom.
Of course, even though me and you argue, Dave, backstage, me and anytime I need anything, I can call you, and you can always call me. And the same for you, Jack. Even though the time zones, don't be ringing me up at 1 a.m. with your pictures of food, because I won't be happy about that. I'll be like, I just want to eat. So I won't
definitely not. That. I won't do that. But I'll probably bother you with maybe some Richarlison or Højbjerg, sort of stuff, maybe early in the morning.
That's absolutely
big ups to you. Thanks for opening it up for us. Thanks for getting us started.
Thanks for having me on.
Enjoy your evening. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, guys.
See you, Mia. Bye-bye. Everyone, please do what Daniel Horton has done, and please, Horton, I want to make sure I get this right. I feel like I'm butchering it. Jack Horton?
Yeah, I would think so. Horton. Yeah, big up to you, Daniel. Big Dan. Daniel Army is strong. Dan Army is strong. It's getting strong.
It's getting strong. It is. It's going to outpower the Dave Army in a minute. We can't have that. We'll have to get people. We're going to have to start
a lot of soldiers.
A call for Daves to come to the fore, Jack. Just want to say, if I welcome into a few people. I feel rude when I sort of don't get this done, because there's people that I do feel like, we should be giving them a proper welcome in when they do pop in. First of all, King Hoddle getting my gears going. He loves doing this. He says, Dave, like you, I want Davies to move on, but you said he failed to take his chance versus Wolves. he was Sky's man of the match. Look, completely get it. But surely we're not using the barometer of that performance from the whole team to big up Ben Davies. We can't keep doing this. Look, like I said, he was good for 91 minutes.
He was better than Dyer.
But he was shit on the ball. That led to that second goal. He panicked. He had a good option back to the carrier, which Romero Van de Ven would have done, or pass out to Dyer. He chose to pass it to Højbjerg, who was being pressed, who passed on the responsibility to CELSO, who was being pressed, which led to the turnover for the second goal. Whereas Davies just showed a bit more composure in that moment, it wouldn't have happened, and we would have got out there with a result. But it's, look, I'm just going off the 10 years of Davies being here. That's all, King Huddle. That's all. But look, for me, what definitely wasn't man of the match. I mean, that's scraping the barrel, to be honest with you. I would have given it to Vicario over him. But big up King Huddle. I love it. He gets me going. I'm sitting here happy on a Friday. He gets me going. I love it. Big up, big boss man. My man, sure. I am all good, safe and sound. I live in a complete different county, so I just get to watch everything from afar, which is good. You know, it means I don't get involved in anything. I can't get involved in anything. Nice, and there's no shit on my doorstep that I don't have to do with, which is brilliant, my man. So big up, big boss man. Then we also have Honest Bailey. Big up. Great to see you in the building. Thank you for popping in. John Fitzpatrick, one that better be getting ready for that late toy show this evening, my man. The big one, 9:30. Hopefully you and the family enjoy it. Of course, recently moved back to Ireland. Hopefully you've settled in well and you're having a good time, John. Big up, my man. Then Lisa Davies. Big up, Lisa. She says, big up, Dave, Jack, and me. I hope you're all well. I'm hoping Alfie Dorrington gets some minutes Sunday. Much love to you all. Look, I'd love Alfie Dorrington to get minutes. I've been speaking about this guy for quite some time. Now, with the under-21s, he predominantly plays on the left-hand side, and he can play there. He's good. What I like about Dorrington is he's very good on the ball. You just got to take his Jamie Donnelly's goal from last year's cup final as a prime example of what Donnelly offers you, even there just before the international break, where he assisted Kieran Menton. That's exactly what Dorrington's going to give you, which is what Dyer and Davies didn't give us against Wolves. That outball person, if the pass is none, he can run it, and he's confident enough to do it. Defensively, I like him. I think he's a good player. Coming up against players that they are going to be more physical than him. I'd say Ashley Phillips is more advanced physically than Dorrington, but I really like Dorrington, and I think he is one that Tottenham predict they're going to have round here for our future. Big up, Lisa Davies. Great to see you in the building. Then we have Steve D. Steve D, come on now. Can't do this. Can't make me all lovey-dovey. He says, lots of channels have come and gone in my favorite list over the past 12 months, but you guys are always consistent and appreciate your subs. Nice to be on the same side of the fence, mostly this year. Look, Steve D, my man, we understand everyone that tunes in, everyone that decides to become a member or even send in their super chat. It's their hard-earned time and their money that they're giving to us, you know, that they're putting towards us. And it's only right that we try to value that and give back as much as we can and offer them as much back as we can and stuff like that, my man. So, you know, I really do. The fact that we made your favorite list, I absolutely love that. That's a nice ego boost, Jack. Anything you want to say to Steve D? Really do appreciate that, my man. Such a nice comment.
I think Steve D is a prime example of somebody who often has, you know, his own opinion on things and isn't afraid to share it. And I think on this channel, you can do that, right? You can have a different opinion than somebody, and you don't need to feel like you're going to be shouted down at or, you know, somehow, you know, kind of ridiculed or anything like that. You know, it feels like this channel has always tried its best at, you know, allowing people to have different opinions. Believe me, Dave and I are steadfast sometimes in our opinions, and we can be very beholden to them. But we do have, you know, I think a bit of sort of grace, you know, towards others, you know, kind of thoughts on things. We do allow people to, you know, express it without feeling like they're going to be picked apart or anything like that. So, Steve, I think you're a prime example of that, and do appreciate you, man, for just no matter, you know, what's going on with Spurs, no matter how hectic it gets, we do always, you know, appreciate, you know, tuning in when you do. Thanks for your support, man.
Do you know what I admire about Steve D, actually? I've never said this before, even though he completely disagreed with everything I had to say last year, which is fine, by the way. You know, it's only my opinion. But, you know, he never once, like, you know, went out his way to personally attack me or, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here, this, that, and the other. It's like, look, Dave, this is my opinion. That's your opinion. Fine. It's better that we talk about it. So really admire that about you, Steve, by the way. So hopefully you enjoy your Friday evening. Really do appreciate that, my man.
Legend.
Top 943, great to see you in the building. Foggy Foam says, big up, guys. Really like that kid. Oscar, teammate of Manor Solomon, to be our option to rotate with Manners. Jack, do you know much about?
Oscar Glauch, I think he plays
Oh,
for
that's who it is. Okay.
yeah, for Red Bull Salzburg. Very good player, and also I'm a big fan of actually Red Bull Salzburg because I think they've been secretly producing some of the better players around sort of Europe at the moment. You actually look at guys even in the Austrian Bundesliga. Secretly, the Austrian Bundesliga I think has actually become one of the more talent factories. Upamecano, Hoyland. In the case of Szoboszlai. Plenty of really good players have just recently come out of the Austrian Bundesliga. So I would say not a bad place to look for new talent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Foggy Foam. Interesting. I have to go and do. I know who he is on that. When Jack said his last name, I'll go and do a bit more research though, and I'll come back to you, Foggy Foam, with whether I give it a green tick or a red X, my man. Big up, Foggy Foam. Great to see you. Dave H, 1916, the older Dave Harris. Big up, Dave, Jack, and Mia. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Davey H. Great to see you. Take a couple more comments, and then we will crack on because we got guests coming into the back end, which is great to see. SH Spurs 1 says, correct. Thanks, Irish. I don't always agree with you, but I always love your passion. Do you know what? I really do appreciate that, my man. That's one thing I am, is passionate. Do you know what? A lot of people actually agree with you. They'd say Dave talks bollocks, but he's passionate. So I'll take that. Big up, my man. Really appreciate that. Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. And then Kev G says, Laurel and Hardy laughing at what King Huddle called us. Absolutely love that. Getting your best nicknames for our duo. Reggie D says, me as a genuine spirit and sensible analysis. Big up, Reggie. Man. That she does. Daniel Horton says, Daniel Army as a channel name, maybe in the future. And big up Mr. Sandoval coming in there as well. And then Dell Support 14 says, love the channel. Been wondering if you guys have considered starting a FIFA Career Mode series. I, for one, would definitely love to see that come on you Spurs. We have, Jack. We discuss it. We sort of go to do it every year, and then the games just come in thick and fast and stuff like that. And we sort of just put it to one side. But we should do it, though, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we probably should.
We were doing it for a while, and I know Kuva used to enjoy it, and Ben from here TV used to enjoy it.
Yeah, we used to stream sometimes, Dave and I, sort of games on Twitch and everything back in the day, Dell Support, and I really did enjoy it. It's a bit more complicated than it sort of looks. I think you need a few extra gadgets. Dave and I need to invest in, I think, some tech in order to really, put it up on YouTube and everything. But if that's something that people are really into, I think we could go for it. I think maybe we could make it available to the members or something like that, like yourself here at Dell Support, because I know you guys are looking for different content, and I know you guys deserve different content as well. So yeah, something to consider. Dave and I also have been, looking into maybe doing like a sort of like an edition for members too, where, look at maybe bets, around the Spurs team that you could take a look at, if you're into that sort of thing. But, everybody loves a bit of FIFA. Everybody loves a bit of career mode. Definitely would like to look into that, Dell Support.
Do you know what I love about this, Jack? I'm always constantly saying to people, let's know what you want us to talk about. Let's know what you want to see from us. And Dell Support took that and said, guys, this is what I want to see. So Dell Support, leave it with us, and we'll try our very best to deliver. Now, and I know there's something called a game catcher, which me or Jack don't have. So I will look to invest in one of them in the near future. And once we get that, we should be underway. Although I need to get in contact with Tron, actually, Dermatron, because he streams FIFA. I don't think he has one. So I'll get on to him, and we'll get it sorted. That Support, we will have it sorted for you. And hopefully you enjoy it when it comes, my man. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir.
Nice man.
Really
nice man, Dell Support.
And we've got DJ Samuel becoming a new YouTube member.
Let me just see what it was.
New YouTube member. He's been here for ages.
He's been here forever. So maybe he's just thank you, DJ. If the membership expired or something like that, we really do appreciate you, sir. And he's also, celebrating 13 months of membership, over a year of service to this channel. So absolute legend, DJ. And you're our man out in North London, Dave. He's IrishHotspur representing in North London, local lad. Appreciate you, DJ. And yeah, thanks for re-upping the membership or whatever you might have been doing there. And also thanks for, sharing with everybody the milestone of 13 months. So if anybody else has a milestone to share with us, feel free to do so. And big up to you, DJ. Hopefully you're well this Friday evening.
Do you know what, lad? When I'm not streaming tucked into the corner of my my kitchen, I'd love to stand up and give everyone a round of applause when they get over 12 months. It's absolutely commendable service. But DJ, my man, honestly, when I'm over there for the next game, I'm going to hit you up. and I'm gonna meet you for a drink. I don't drink. I'll have a glass of Coke, ice, and a slice of lemon in it. That's important. And whenever you drink, my man, I'll get that for you. And let's have a pint and meet up and have a chat. Big up, DJ Samuel. Great to see you in the building, my man. Just quickly as well, we've got Swim Master sneaking in. Great to see you. Never ever have to apologize for being late either, brother. And look, we understand. It's Friday evening. Christmas is around the corner. People's got engagements prior engagements with Santi visits and all that sort of stuff or whatever going on, shopping, etc. Black Friday today. So look, never apologize. We understand people have a life to live. Big up Tequila 316 as well. Says, well, I want to see Jack and Dave. You can get a cheapo capture card. Look, we'll look into it and we'll get it sorted, my man. And then Dell Support says he's absolutely buzzing with that. Looking forward to whenever you guys put it out. Don't worry.
Very kind, Dell Support. Very kind, my man. And thank you to Tequila 316. Good to see you in the house as always, Tequila. Cockeyed Steve is in here as well. Say it again.
I tuned into. I was watching Back Mia's fan show the other day. Was that you on it, Tequila? Let me know. And then Tequila, Bobby K, member for 21 months.
Sir. Nice.
Like I said, Bobby, I would stand up if I wasn't tucked into the corner, my man. Absolute commendable service. Big up David, Jack, and everyone in the chat. Bobby, are you going over to a game this year? Are you going to get back over to a game this year, my man? Let me know. Let me know.
Hopefully you're all right tonight.
Two young lads are asking for sure, Jacko.
Yeah, Friday night, Bobby K. Hopefully you're all right this evening. Hopefully the kiddos, all the boys are good. The family's all right. And also just, big weekend ahead. And yeah, it's another weekend of Spurs chaos. Hopefully you're all prepared for it and got family, friends around you. And also thank you for the support for 21 months, my man. Nearly 2 years. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. So thank you, sir. And yeah, big up to you, Bobby K. Hopefully you're all right, my man.
You may get the older lad over this year, Bobby. It could be Eric Dyer's last season at the club, so you may get him over. But honestly, if it's Jay or Christian either, big yourself up. And good to see you in the building. And then Bobby does put back in, says about this season, hopefully next season. Well, let me know, my man. Let me know. This time I will get over for sure when you're over. But look, Jack, let's keep going. Let's keep moving. We've got Big T in the background. Let's get him on. Let's hear what he has to say.
How we doing, guys?
Good to see you, Tyler.
My internet's gone crazy. I need to log back in.
All right. We'll have Dave come back in. What's up, Tyler? How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't really complain. Had a nice Thanksgiving yesterday, even though I pulled a Van de Ven and done my hamstring playing tennis, but not as bad as him.
Thanksgiving Day tennis?
I don't think I tore it, luckily, just a pull, but yeah, I can't complain about anything.
Well, hopefully you don't have the Spurs medical department, around you, because that would mean that you'd be out even longer, Tyler. But nice Thanksgiving Day tennis. That's always good to have. I was doing the miniature version of that, the less difficult version. I was playing pickleball, so
nice.
Not as intense as tennis or nearly as good, but good to hear that, man. Going into this weekend, Tyler, how you feeling? I mean, it's hard to, get overly confident. In fact, probably most Spurs fans are going into this one very nervous. But how can we win this game? If you were to find a way to sort of win this game, what would you look at? Who can step up for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be hard to win this game, but we do have enough quality at the end of the day to get it done. Obviously, I'm mostly worried about the center backs because let's be real, I think it's going to be Davies and Dyer, and I think even though I really want Dorrington to play, if we have to throw Dorrington in against or with Davies or Dyer, like it's not gonna help him. Let's just say that. I want to see his first game next to like a Romero or a Van de Ven to get his full. I just like if you play next to Dyer and Davies, they make you worse. They do. So I just don't want people to already be on Dorrington talking crap after one performance, because I know they will. So as much as I really want Dorrington to play, I think I'd rather just keep the disappointment of just Dyer and Davies. So I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Dave? Like pass on, like when you think about it, right? Dorrington, he's already going to be playing, his first Premier League minutes. It's almost more ideal that you have that be against somebody like Romero, Van de Ven, or somebody that is reliable, can kind of, guide him through the game. Whereas Davies and Dyer, they're kind of just going to leave him out on his own. It's kind of up to him then. Maybe it's better to have somebody who's actually a competent defender next to him, Dorrington.
Do you know, I think Tyler raises a great point, and that goes back to what I'm saying. It's nice to listen to people with difference of opinions, because sometimes they can enlighten you. Not all the time, sometimes, but on this occasion. Look, I think there is merit to that. If you do put him in beside Dyer, it's not really going to elevate him. It's not really going to help him. And I think the biggest thing that, look, maybe I've overlooked speaking about as well is when you're putting an 18-year-old kid like that, the biggest thing like you need beside him is a leader, someone that's going to speak. Eric Dyer will not do that. He's not that sort of guy out on the football pitch unless he's blaming someone else for his mistake. Whereas you're right, if you got Romero or if you got a Van de Ven, they will talk to him. They will be in his ear. And that's the biggest thing a 19-year-old needs or an 18-year-old needs when you put him in there. It's just someone in his ear, just positioning them slightly, this, that, and the other. That's what he mainly needs going in. So I think there's merit to that point. People in the comments, let us know what you think.
Yeah. And even like if Phillips was available, I'd even feel more comfortable going Dorrington and Phillips than if it was like Phillips and Dyer, or Dorrington and Dyer, or Dorrington and Davies. Like at least they're used to playing with each other, and also maybe like it's not going to happen, but you could do something like a Dorrington and Emerson, maybe. I don't know. It's just a whole lot of risk to like throw in a kid, like that. Because I think personally Dorrington has more potential than Phillips, and I think he's going to be really big for us in the future. So I don't want to spoil him right now, throwing him into the fire, playing next to Dyer and Davies. I think it would be a really bad decision, honestly. I think.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, where it's like a lot of people have spoke about, is it crushing their confidence playing them against really good teams like Aston Villa and Man City?
I'm not even worried
kind of
about
on
that.
the line of like, it's crushing their confidence playing them with guys like Dyer and Davies. That could crush their confidence. It's a good point you make, Tyler. On sort of Dorrington, though, just I know like you said, you seem to really rate the guy. I feel like Dave has sort of brought up, maybe he might not be to sort of the pace or physicality, maybe fully necessary to really, handle the Premier League straight away. But what I do like about Dorrington is I think he's really good on the ball. And that's actually what Dyer and Davies frustrate me with at times, is that I do feel like they're not as good on the ball as people make them out to be. Dorrington, I think, is good enough on the ball, though, for the Premier League. What do you make of it? Like, he could maybe help us out in possession, at some stage.
Yeah.
What do you make of him in possession? Yeah.
It definitely technically at Dorrington's there. I think he's ahead of Phillips in that department, but Phillips is definitely there more with physicality. I think his body's more prem ready, but I really like Dorrington and Phillips, honestly, and I can't wait to see them in the squad in the future, and hopefully getting minutes this season. Maybe throw Dorrington in at some point in the second half, maybe tomorrow, but I don't know.
Sticking to youngsters, what about Jamie Donnelly? He was brought up in the press conference. Could we see him make an appearance off the bench against Villa? I don't think he'll start, but do you think we'll see him make an appearance off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, we need creativity, and he's got that. He's able to create goals. He's able to score goals. We definitely are going to need that. I really like Brian Hill. I think playing him in Madison's position could be a good thing, but at the end of the day, we're playing Villa, and we know how physical John McGinn can be, and he's a really tough midfielder to play against. So I think throwing in Hill there would probably be a mistake, honestly. Even though I want to see Hill play in that position in the future, McGinn's just so physical. I think it would be one of those. I think Hill might have even played against Villa before, and McGinn bullied him a couple times, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the midfield definitely worries me for the Villa game as well. Because if we have to see Højbjerg and Skip in there, plus Dyer and Davies at the back, I have absolutely no confidence that we could get a result.
Do you have confidence at all in Lo Celso? Dave and I have sort of been frustrated with him for a long, long time, but do you kind of have a feeling he could step up, because we're going to need him to step up. It's part of even the title of this show, right?
Yeah, look, he has to play tomorrow. I think he probably should start, but or if he comes off the bench, I think he has to play tomorrow. One of his last chances, let's be honest, in the next couple games. If he doesn't show anything, he's got to go in January, in my opinion. But to me, Lo Celso is not even really he's not that creative. Like, he's not a Madison replacement at all. he's more of a number 8. I think he definitely he plays better as a number 8 as well, like sitting a little bit deeper, playing
He
maybe like in Sar's role.
he looked okay during preseason, right? To be honest, Lacelso, like when he had his spells, like in the preseason games, it's at a very different pace, and it's kind of just going through the motions. But I actually thought he played pretty well in the number 10 position in some of our preseason games. But then when we've seen him against Fulham and then other chances, Tyler, he hasn't exactly blown us away. Um, it's hard to know what Lacelso, I guess, we're going to get really going into this game.
Yeah, and if Sar is injured, I think I'd like to see Lo Celso there in Sar's role, and I would like, as much as I want Hill or Donley, maybe they might not be physically up for a John McGinn battle, playing in Madison's role. So I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Kulu at that position. I think he could go in there and do a decent job as well. But as for the number 6, I really just don't want to see Skip. But so I would throw Højbjerg in there. But if you got to
Mm-hmm.
play Skip and Højbjerg, I want neither of them on the pitch.
Mm-hmm. Højbjerg didn't have the best of games, it felt like, in the recent Wolves match.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like he should play if it's a midfield of, let's say, Bentancur, Lo Celso, and Højbjerg? Who would you play in the number 6 deeper position?
If it was Bentancur, Lo Celso, and Højbjerg, I don't know. I
It's
mean,
hard.
I think probably I'd play Højbjerg as the 6, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. Bentancur, I would kind of like to see maybe Bentancur actually at this. I actually forgot about Bentancur for a second. I'd actually like to see Bentancur, Lo Celso, and maybe Kulu as the midfield 3. It's
Oh,
a little bit
okay.
wild, but I
Drop
wouldn't
Kulu in there.
mind. I wouldn't mind seeing that, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. For sure. Are you thinking about any changes in the forward line at all? If you're then gonna potentially move Kulu somewhere else, Brennan Johnson, right? He's
Yeah.
somebody that I guess is starting to kind of show that he can make it in this front line. We're gonna need him to show up in this game. I also feel like maybe him and Sonny could be kind of a good weapon against that high line that Aston Villa like to play, right? They're very quick. They know
Yeah.
how to make those runs in behind Johnson and Sonny. Maybe that's how we could get at Villa.
Yeah, and I think maybe playing Hill out, maybe in Kulu's position.
Mm,
If you move Kulu into the midfield,
mm,
you could do
mm,
something like that and play Brennan Johnson, Son, and Hill up top, maybe.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm just more worried about the defense. To be honest, it's really going to be tough to hold Villa out. I think so. I'm not
mhm,
too confident going into the game, but
Do you
we'll
think it's
see
a
what
case then
happens.
we might have to outscore Villa and that we really need the attacking
Yeah,
players to come to the fore, maybe more than what they did against Wolves?
exactly. I think we're definitely gonna concede 1 goal, but I could see us conceding 2. So I think we're definitely gonna have to, you know, play very attacking, create a lot of chances, which is going to be hard without Madison. He created so many chances for us, and he opens up the field for a lot of people. So it's definitely going to be hard without Madison, and we just got to hope that a Lo Celso, a Hill, a Don leave, and can hopefully come in and create chances, and for us to put them in the back of the net, hopefully, because we're playing a very good Villa team, honestly. So. I'm
mhm,
definitely nervous, but I think we do have the quality to get it done at the end of the day. As much
mhm,
as we have so many players injured, I have full
Mm.
trust in Ange, and I'm hoping we can. I'm hoping for a draw at least, but obviously a win would be incredible.
Love that. Love that. Tyler, it's a question I asked yesterday on the debate show to Shawnee and Ben, and I think we sort of came out with the same conclusion that maybe the fans' expectations is the reason why maybe we feel like
Yeah,
we're at a crossroads. But are Tottenham at a crossroads right now? Because we have been here before. We got off to similar starts under Jose, Conte, Nuno. Like, if we're taking our biased hats off, we did have good periods under them. And then in and around this time, October, November, it all really came crumbling sort of down. Are we at that crossroads again? And if we are, do you think Ange Postecoglou will be able to handle it any different to a Conte or Mourinho, which when we got to this point and it went on for so long, they ended up just getting pissed off with it?
yeah. I don't think Ange is gonna ruin himself mentally. Like I think he's gonna stay focused. He realizes. I mean, the injuries we have is crazy right now. We have like 10 guys out. I mean, some
Mm,
really important players as well. and 2 guys suspended, Romero and Basuma. Look, at the end of the day, like going into the season, I was expecting like 8th to 10th, to be honest. So when we're, sitting at top for a while there, and no injuries yet, but in the back of my head I always thought that it was going to happen and we weren't going to be able to sustain it. We don't have the depth yet to be title challengers right now because there's so many injuries. We play so many games. I know we are actually blessed this season without a Champions League or a Europa League, so we don't have to worry about that many games. And we're out of the cup early, but injuries still happen. They go on international break. They're gonna play their hearts out for the country. So it's injuries happen. It's sad to see, but I just pray that we hopefully can still get top 5, top 4, and we can get into the Champions League next season, and we have a good rest of the year. And even with the injuries, bringing in guys like a Donley or a Brian Hill or Dorrington or Phillips, them getting these minutes, getting better, fulfilling their potential. It's gonna be good for us in the long run. So please, to everyone, do not get down. That if we start falling, start dropping points. I mean, it's very likely that it is going to happen with all the injuries we have right now. And just don't get down on Ange. Don't get down on the team. We're gonna bounce back eventually. I have full faith in Ange. I think the direction we're going in is really good right now. So I'm
Well
not
said,
I'm not
Tyler.
too worried. I'm a little bit depressed now because obviously I wanted us to keep the title race going,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
seeing Madison create like he's been has been
Yeah.
incredible. Doing a lot of what Harry Kane did for us. So
Mm,
it definitely is a little
true.
sad, but we
It's
got we
hard to
got to
see the
realize what
momentum
we
killed.
thought going into the season.
Yeah, well said, Tyler. It's hard to see the momentum be kind of knocked like that, but
Yeah.
can't lose faith in Ange. And everybody knew that there would be bumps in the road. I guess Kev G was saying not really bumps, more like potholes. And Ange is going to try to deal with it as best he can. And there's definitely been a huge knock to our momentum. But let's see if we can find a new momentum, maybe under these new players. But it's just really well said, Tyler. Actually, even you said it much better than I am right now. I completely agree with you. Any kind of other sort of opinions you might have, ahead of this game before we let you go, man?
Um, I mean, I'm just, I don't know. I just don't really know what to think right now. Like,
Yeah,
I have to, like, I don't know who's playing. I don't know,
hard game to predict.
how we're gonna set up. I mean, obviously, we're not gonna park the bus, which is a little bit worrying for that Man City game with all the injuries and stuff right now. If we got a Dyer and Davies back line against Man City, and we
Hmm.
play like we did get against Chelsea, that'll
Yeah.
be a little bit wild to watch. But no, I mean, I just I can't really say too much right now as to what I'm expecting for the game because I have no idea, honestly.
No shame in that, man. I mean, it's a hard game to predict, and
Yeah.
as you have mentioned, you don't have much confidence in that back line. Neither do Dave and I either. So it's up to other players then to step up, like like you've already mentioned, the midfield, other players maybe in the forward
Yeah,
line. Maybe Brian Hill could do a job in this game, Kulusevski. But there's a lot to be nervous about, and it's also up to other players that we know who are maybe the better players in our starting 11 to put in a good enough performance that they can help us stay in this game. And even some are saying it could be a high scoring game because of
yeah.
that back line too. So it's a hard one to predict, man. I agree with you.
We definitely might need a Sonny hat trick here. Couple curlers outside the
That's the
box.
Moondog. That's the Moondog. Moondog, let us know if you're doing a Sunny hat trick.
Yeah,
That'd
let's
be
know if
terrific.
that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
Tyler, have a good rest of your Friday, my man. And I'm sorry that you picked up a Mickey Van de Ven injury,
Yeah.
but like I said, just stay away from that Spurs medical department, and you'll probably be back, sooner than Mickey Van de Ven is what I expect. So,
Probably. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on in the Spurs medical team the last, however many seasons. But
now Spurs fans are getting injured as well.
yeah,
All of a sudden.
falling into
I'd
the
also,
injury bug. Jesus.
I'd also say, Tyler, stay vigilant as well. You're my next target on the fantasy league, so
Yeah, I have like 8 guys out injured. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I already
Yeah.
used my free transfer stuff, so I'm
Dave smells blood.
screwed.
Oh, might have to
There
use
you
my
go.
triple captain this weekend, so Tyler.
Just to beat Tyler. Just to beat
Yeah.
Tyler.
But no, he's a good
I
bit
love
up. So he's the next target that
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah,
once I
yeah.
get in there, then I'll be
Okay.
away. So
You'll get there,
just stay
Dave.
vigilant, Tyler. I'm coming.
All right.
Tyler,
Have a good
big
night, man.
yourself up, my man. Great speaking to you as always. I do apologize. Sorry, my neighbor was out there making noise. I had to go out and tell him to turn it down a little because it was interfering with me trying to listen to you and with that noise in there, he was playing. So do apologize about that, Tyler. But Tyler, great to see you, my man. We'll speak again very, very soon.
No worries. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one,
night,
Tyler,
man.
everyone.
come on, you Spurs, make me feel happy.
Come on, you Spurs!
That's what I'm
Love
talking
that,
about.
Tyler. Nice one,
That's it,
Big
my
T.
man.
Good
Love
man.
it. See you soon,
Well
Tyler.
done.
Later, guys.
Big up, Tyler.
Bye-bye. Really like Tyler, really nice guy. Really like talking to him. Even there late at night sometimes in there, I can vent to him and he's there texting me back. I love it. Big up, Tyler.
It does
Absolute
worry
great
me
guy.
that Spurs players seem to be dropping like flies with injuries, and now we're seeing Spurs fans, picking up similar injuries. This just isn't good. It's not a good vibe for the rest of this season. But Tyler, absolute legend. Thanks for bringing the positivity, like Lisa O says there, and thanks for always coming on, making these fan shows what they are, my man, Big T. But everybody, if you haven't already, please smash that like button. Keep getting your comments in. Feel free to interrupt the show at any stage if you would like with a super chat. It's a great way to do so. And also as well, everybody, if you want to come on and have your say, feel free to do so. Grab that link quickly because Dave does have an engagement later on this evening. So yeah, if you want to come on, hit that link and come on. But we're going to keep it moving here. I believe we have Ash, who answered the call from earlier. She's come on.
Let's go. She's not afraid of me. That's good. Let's bring Ash on and hear what she has to say. Ash, good evening. How are you? And a great call the last week with Jack. I really enjoyed listening to it back.
Thank you. I finally get to meet you, so that's great.
No, it's my pleasure. It's the pleasure's mine.
So if I start crying, it's not y'all.
That's good. That's good to know. But where are you at this weekend, Ash? Sorry, Jack, go on.
No, I didn't say anything. Yeah.
I'm actually quite excited about this weekend because Spurs India is doing like this outreach in India because there are very few Spurs fans here, and so they've got like Ledley King to come here and do like a live watch along in Mumbai and then a fan meet in Bangalore. So I'm actually going for the live watch along. So I might get to meet him. So I'm really excited.
Oh, that's sick.
That's unreal.
Actually really happy that Spurs are doing something like that, to be honest, Ash, because so many different fans around the world. It's nice to be able to watch it with other like-minded Spurs fans around your country or just in general, right? And also to have somebody like Ledley King come all the way over for something like that too. It's actually a nice touch. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's quite nice also because India is a really big untapped market, like the population wise. And there are a lot of football fans here.
Yeah, you guys like your football.
Yeah, so if they could and a lot of them support teams in like the La Liga, some teams in like even in South America. So there are a lot of those people who could take Spurs as their second team or even as their like first team or whatever. So there's a lot of untapped potential there. So it's great.
It's absolutely great to see see the club putting that on. It's absolutely brilliant to see, and hopefully, we can get more like-minded, passionate fans from your side of the world. That'd be the ultimate goal. We want to grow the fan base. But did you get to speak to Ledley King yourself personally? I've never actually got to speak to him personally.
Meeting him at the Villa game. So
it's happening this weekend.
She's going to go and then the game will start.
Oh, sorry. I thought Spurs put on something beforehand as well.
No, it's about to happen this weekend. So get ready.
I hope he's having a great day.
Speaking of Ledley King, no, Ash, we would love to have him available for this weekend, but sadly, he's going over to keep you company. He's not going to be in our back line against Aston Villa. How do you feel ahead of this game? Confident, nervous, bit of both?
I am a little bit nervous. But I've always been of the opinion that if you have to start really young players, you start them in the biggest match. Because, if they fail, it's Villa, it's City, they were bound to, not do that well. But if they succeed, it'll be like Danny Rose scoring his debut goal, so against Arsenal. So like Steven Bergwijn as well. I think he started against Man City, right? I think so.
Yeah.
So like that's the sort of moment that everybody dreams of on their debut, right? So I think that, and like it also takes the pressure off in the subsequent matches. We'll still be down Van de Ven, and if one of these players steps up, they'll keep thinking, okay, I did okay against Villa or City, so then any lesser team, they wouldn't be intimidated by as much. So it gives them a lot of confidence as well. So start them in the hardest game. Don't try to like protect them and then be like, oh, it'll give them confidence, we'll build it slowly, because it doesn't always work out. So I think that it's best to, if we're going to start Dorrington, I know Phillips is injured. I wish he wasn't, but if we're going to start Dorrington, do it now. My only wish was if he had Romero next to him, Romero would be a better person, sort of guide him through his debut.
Better influence.
Do you take Tyler's point on board that he made then? Maybe hold Dorrington back until Romero is able to play beside him, just to have that bit of maybe leadership beside him where he can talk to him.
Yeah, it might make sense in the sense, I think Newcastle, is that would Romero be back for Newcastle?
After Man City, yes, after Man City.
So that might actually be a good idea, but we do need someone now as well. And I just don't think Eric Dyer can cut it. He just, people tell me he's really good on the ball, and as a CDM, I didn't particularly rate him on the ball either. He was okay. He had one good season. But so I don't really see that. And I also feel like with Emerson, again the same problem. He's actually quite good. He's better aerially, and against Villa that might be useful. But I don't think he's good on the ball. And I think that
good enough
as
on the ball.
Spurs, you have to be. And I think perhaps Dorrington might be better on the ball than Emerson. Who knows? I'm not a senior. He's now had his full debut, so it's a little harsh to compare, but it's possible.
I think Emerson's problem is he likes to hold on to the ball a bit too long sometimes, whereas Dorrington is, he's comfortable on it, but he understands he has to pass out. I think Emerson thinks he's a centre attacking midfielder at times, drawing people on sometimes. But everyone, that's Asher's defence. Let us know. Do you agree with that point? That look, it doesn't matter whether the game. Sometimes it's easier or it's better for the kid to throw him into the biggest game. Interesting point there. Ash, let's get into the midfield though. It's the big talking point this weekend, and for me, I think it should be even bigger than the back line, because if we lose this midfield battle this weekend, we're going to be in for a long 90 minutes. So what would you do in midfield? And I want to start with maybe the number 6 position, because of course Basuma's out because of the suspension with the accumulation of yellow cards. What midfielder do you think will give us closest to what Basuma gives us in terms of on the ball? Because when Basuma's on it, we tend to control possession and control games. When he's not, like against Wolves, they just come straight at us.
I mean, we are not going to find a Basuma replacement. Ideally, I would have to play Højbjerg there because I would prefer Bentancur to play the 8. But I'm not sure, because I did see that his previous match, the international, and he did play really well. So I don't think that it's possible that he could play that 8 role. But there's a lot of running, and Villa has really fast forwards. Their midfield's also quite rapid. So I think that it's possible that throwing Bentancur into that, despite the fact that South American football can, it's a World Cup qualifier. If you can play a World Cup qualifier, you can play for your team, right? But I still think that perhaps he may not be ready for that 8 role. So perhaps might have to play him in a 6 and then play Højbjerg up in the 8, which I dread because of the previous game. I don't think he's up for it, but possibly that's what it's going to be. CELSO,
is there an argument to maybe say skip in front of Højbjerg then, just quickly? Would there be an argument for that if you're not so confident in Højbjerg?
I like Højbjerg better than Skip, at least.
Yeah. Fair enough.
He does have a decent pass on him. He's proven that a few times in his Spurs shirt. So I think that Højbjerg makes it over Skip definitely. And as a professional, he's more experienced. He can hold,
Yeah.
he can defend better. I think in general, Skip sometimes loses awareness and he runs around aimlessly. And I do think that's something. Actually, something Højbjerg also occasionally does, but not as much.
Yeah. Look, I actually agree with that observation of Skip. I do often find him just sitting there in the middle, not really knowing what he's doing. At times. I actually agree with that observation. And look, maybe last thing on the Villa game before I find out off you what maybe we think we need in January. Forward line, would you make any changes to it this week? It didn't really quite work against Villa, Son, Johnson, and Kulu. Or would you give them another run out together?
I actually agree with Tyler. I would not play Lo Celso. I would put Kulu in that 10 position, and I would put Johnson and Hill on the right and on the left with Sonny. I mean, if we have Hill, we should give him a proper start. See how it goes. Otherwise, we'll know before Jan if we have to, sell him or loan him or whatever. We should know that now. If we don't know it in December, then we won't be able to make a decision on him, and it will be postponed to another window. And then we won't buy anyone else either. So it makes no sense. So
That's a good point. That's a good point. And do you think, is it just that you just don't have the confidence in Lo Celso to really do what's necessary in midfield, and you just feel like Kulusevski and Hill could just do a better job in making up for the loss of a Maddison than Lo Celso would?
When Lo Celso first came in, I was one of those people who was like, give him another chance. There's a player there. I mean, in Ndombele, I lost faith, even though Ndombele perhaps was just as he was very talented and all of that. I mean, I just couldn't get over Jose Mourinho training him in a park somewhere. I was like, perhaps this player isn't meant for Spurs. But with Lo Celso, I always thought there was a player there, and I do not know what happened. But the way he plays for Argentina, I just saw the Argentina match. The way he plays for Argentina, he does not play like that for Spurs. And if there was a manager who would get that out of him, it would be Ange. And if Ange is not picking him, that clearly means Ange does not have that faith in him, because he's now managed to injured for a match or two. Lo Celso could have started those matches. He didn't.
Well said.
Is it? Look, what was it? S Spurs put the same comment in as well, saying, look, Lionel Messi says that Giovanni Lo Celso is one of his favourite sort of players to play with. What is the problem? Because I hear this a lot, about the Lionel Messi quotes about how good he is for Argentina. Me personally, I only care about what he does at Tottenham, and he doesn't do a whole deal, quite frankly. But what are we missing? Why aren't we getting the best out of him? Is it us? Is it him? Is it maybe the league doesn't suit his style of play? What is it with Lo Celso? Because a lot of people say to me, oh, he's good, this, that, and the other. But I want to know why. Maybe you could point it out to me, Ash.
I mean, honestly, I'm not sure I know either. But I will say that in Argentina, there is a set system. They've been playing together for a while. That team is pretty set. They know which position, who plays which position. They know how to play it. They won a World Cup playing it. So they're well, in international football, they don't do training and drills and all. They just come together, they do strategy, and it's all decided, because they don't have the time that you have in club football. And so I do think that everyone knows their brief. Whereas with Lo Celso, he didn't have direction with Jose and Conte for 2 seasons, and I think now his head's just gone. I think in preseason there was a little bit of hope that it would change, but I think he doesn't. I don't think he likes to compete, and seeing Maddis do so well, I think his head just went.
I agree with that, actually, that you made also the point about sort of international teams. Maybe they sort of have a bit more familiarity with each other, some of these players, because they played with each other for a long time, either growing up through the international team and everything like that, or they played in similar leagues, similar teams with each other, all that sort of thing. That's a good point, actually, with Lo Celso, that part of the reason maybe he does play better for Argentina is just that he knows the guys that he's playing with. So he knows their game. He knows how he's supposed to play with them. He knows who he can trust. Not saying that's an excuse or anything, but it is, a bit of an explanation actually for, maybe why we do see two different players. And it is interesting, like really is two different players, what he is for Argentina and what he is for Spurs. And you're sort of saying too, Ash, that you just feel like his attitude or maybe his, general sort of feeling towards Spurs is maybe like he's kind of has one foot out the door is kind of what you're sort of suggesting, or maybe he is kind of done.
Yeah, because he did well in preseason. Then Madison became the vice captain. It was clear where Ange was putting his faith in, which number 10 Ange was putting his faith in. And then the form dropped. So I feel like that's possibly the case.
Look, let's wait and see what happens. Let's see if, the guy can come in and prove me wrong. I've been waiting 4.5 years. But Ash, take this with me from Kev Williams, because it's something I actually sort of brought up in the Chelsea game after Van der Ven went off injured. And since then, it's blown up. Everyone's talking about it. Sky Sports must be listening. But Kev Williams says, howdy, Dave and Jack. I think that the long-awaited VAR decisions, players cooling down may cause more injuries like we saw with Mickey Van der Ven. Gutting for him, and interestingly enough, the most common injury this season across the Premier League is the hamstring. And that usually goes when, look, it can go anytime, but usually if you're not warmed up properly or you're going straight into sprinting, it's more prone to going, it's more prone to snapping and stuff like that. Is the VAR decisions, like Kev is saying, the long VAR decisions leading to these hamstring injuries and more players picking up injuries because of the stop-start nature, the cooling down, speeding back up again?
I mean, none of us can say for sure, but there's clearly a correlation. I'm not saying that the VAR thing causes the hamstring injury to happen, but it is possible that it could exacerbate an existing, say, stretch or pull, etc., to make it worse. I also think that now that Ange has admitted this as well in his press conference. I do think that now that VAR is here to stay. Clearly, they're not getting rid of it. They spend too much money on it. Perhaps the players should be taught to do warm-up drills while they wait for the decision to come in. I mean, it sucks for them because ideally they'd like it used to be a nice rest in the middle if the match is really romantic. But I think perhaps there should be a protocol in place by the fitness instructors that you keep warming up so that you don't cool down.
That's an interesting alternative. That's an interesting solution for that. I just feel like Kev Williams, it's almost become a bit like a basketball game where in basketball often you can be playing at the highest intensity and then all of a sudden, you're just stopping and starting with timeouts or just, various replays and things like that. And it does lead to like a bit of sort of stiffness or just like you lose that sort of kinetic energy to be able to keep going at full pace. It's actually hard to go back into full pace after you've just stopped all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I absolutely dislike VAR also because either they're doing that or the referees are trying to like hurry up the game because they've spent so much time on VAR. They're letting the small fouls go because they're like, oh, let's keep the pace of the game going. And then you don't achieve either. You don't have control of the game also, and the VAR is ridiculous and causing injuries as well. But I mean, I don't see them removing it, so now we have to deal with this new reality. But it's taking away from what was great in the Premier League. We watched the Premier League because it was like this fast-paced league and it was aggressive and physical, and so it had all of the strategic sort of aspects of the La Liga. Especially over the last 10-15 years. And but it also had all of the aggression and the pace and the physicality that you'd see something more like the Italian league. So, it was like the best combination of the two. So I think that's why perhaps it was so popular to watch it as an international fan. And so I feel like you're losing that in something like this.
Yeah, look, you know what? I agree with you. As much as I sit here and cry and moan about it every week, it ain't going anywhere purely because the amount of money they put into it. But all I want is for them to adjust VAR to the game and the speed and everything else that's played at, because I feel like we're actually getting to the point now where we're adjusting the rules and the play on the pitch to suit VAR. And what I mean by that, I'm sorry, but no one's going to tell me players running around like they've got handcuffs, on the behind their back is natural, and that sort of shit. This is where I get angry with VAR. I just can't handle it. Just if they're going to keep it, just make sure it fits in with the game rather than us have to make it fit. That's what it feels like now. We have to make it fit, and it's like it's becoming very, very irritating. But great observation. Ash, great calling. Jackie, anything else you want to ask, Ash? Before we let her go?
I can't think of anything. So, Ash, would you like maybe an opportunity at one final sort of opinion or observation ahead of this game?
No, I
Before
would just like to say that I do also own a flat cap, but I don't pull it off like the two of you. So
that's very nice. Maybe you show Ledley and Ozzy your flat cap. Show Ledley and Ozzy your flat cap. Tell them to join the flat cap army.
Yeah.
By the way, actually, just before we let you go, Ash, this is what Paddy Harnett was saying, and he's a reliable guy. Ledley and Ozzy Ardiles will be in India this weekend, so they have a Q&A with Bangalore Spurs too. So hopefully you have a great weekend. Hopefully you do get to speak to them. No doubt you'll probably, get to get a picture and that for sure. And please call in Monday and let us know how it went down. I want to know if we've got a whole new army of Spurs supporters, but it has to be with the flat cap.
Nice one. Nice one, Ash. Thank you. Well done, Ash. Have a great evening. Thanks for coming on. And a lot of people really enjoyed what you had to say as well. Have a good weekend, Ash. Thanks for coming on.
Absolute brilliant calling.
Daryl Bradford saying, Daryl Bradford saying, very much enjoying this caller's commentary. He's also saying she's excellent and thoughtful. Nice one, Ash, from Bobby K. Big up, Ash, from Derek Hutchinson. Great guest, and Ash, Zane Wade. Absolutely loved, what she's had to say since coming on. I think it's like I've continued to say, I've never seen a bad debut when it comes to these fan shows. Everybody has come on and absolutely smashed it, and Ash has joined that list. I had a great chat with her last week, and I think Dave, Dave got to, see more great opinions from her this time. Really big up, Ash. Great call as always, and look forward to many more.
There's nothing worse when someone that has been around for a while eventually calls in. There's only one of us there. There's nothing worse. I get so jealous. But honestly, Ash, great calling, and keep calling in. That was absolutely brilliant. Also, Kev Williams, great conversation, my man. Great conversation starter here. Look, I'm in total agreement with you on this situation. There has to be a direct link. There has to be, my man. Has to be.
Or at least there's no way it's good for you. There's just no way it's good for you. And depending on how impactful it is, there's no way that's a good thing to be playing at such high intensity like that Chelsea game was, and then to have so much stopping and starting. There's no way it's good for anybody. So you're absolutely right, Kevin. There's definitely
has to be a direct correlation between it. There just has to be. No one's going to tell me there isn't, unless you want to call me. What was people say? Oh, Dave, stop being like there's no conspiracy against Tottenham or VAR. But look, I'm telling you, there's definitely a correlation. Big up though, my man. And look at Kev. Actually, I hope you're keeping well, buddy. Let me know how life has been. It's been a while, so please fill me in the comments how life has been treating you, brother. But look. Let's keep kicking on, Jack. Who we got next, my man?
We have the one and only.
Keep an eye on the order. So who we got next?
The one and only Ellie Hoiberg is up next. Queen Ellie, Dave, bring her in.
Let's get her in.
Hello, Ellie, lads. I'm going to keep my camera off because I was feeling a bit low.
No problem.
Today, but I'll tell you about that later. So I just want to go see what you're going to hit me with and what we can talk about.
Well, look, first of all, you will start with the game, right? You're going to the game with Mia. What are you expecting? Heading into this game, are you excited? Are you a bit nervous with all the injuries of Karen? Where are you at with Tottenham right now?
I'm somewhere in between, right? So, when you get like a pit stop in the Formula One, right? And you have to tweak a few things to make the car work. And instead of putting on new tyres, we need a new tyre, don't we? I was thinking of that to make you laugh, lads. Right?
That made me laugh.
Is there anything left in these tyres of Dyer? Right? Is there anything left that we can grasp onto, that we can sort of grasp onto so that we can maybe feel that we can win this match, because we're not saying it's all on Dyer, because there's 11 men out there, all right? But it's him that makes the mistakes that leads to goals. We saw it against Wolves when he kicked it out. Instead of finding the whole pitch he had to aim for, lads. The whole pitch. And he kicks it out. We get caught on the hop. He's flat-footed. Davis, the poor sod, he hasn't got the pace to recover. And before we know it, we're losing the game as well, because they're on the second goal. They're both ball watching, and Højbjerg
You know what drove
just
me
didn't
mad
have
on
the
that
legs
first
to
one,
get
Ellie?
back.
You know what
Højbjerg
drove
was
me mad in that
trying,
first
but he
one?
just
If you go
didn't
back
have
and
the
watch
legs.
it, oh sorry, if you go back and watch that first goal again, right, you'd actually see Kulu pointing for it in behind the fullback. What does Dyer do? Play it in front of him.
Yeah, and it goes out, right? And then that second goal, everybody was blaming Højbjerg, right? He did have a lot to blame for, but he was trying to get back, but he didn't have the legs. He hasn't got the legs. He's not a slow player, but he's not as fast as those Wolves boys. They were like pelting down, and they were more hungry, lads. They were get real. They were more hungry than us to win that match, which was a big shame. Because when you think about it, if we won that match, we would have been top of the league.
Yeah,
is there an
true.
element then of bad habits kicking in from last season, Ellie? Because this is something I would have questioned. This, the team of last season. How hungry are you? In fact, I've been questioning it for the last 3 or 4 years. Is there old habits maybe sneaking back in?
With this particular set of players, because we've got a few of the old guard, but I think with our first 11, they gel so well, and their spirit is higher than these lads. It's like they go on the pitch thinking of the past. Just put all that behind you, boys. You can't be harping on what happened last season when we imploded. And that Chelsea game, that was so annoying. It was like we imploded. That first 20 minutes, we were superb. We were absolutely sublime. And I don't care what anybody says, because I said this in another chat yesterday, that second goal by Sonny was sublime. It was absolutely beautiful football, the way we got moved, right? And it was a shame that it was called off, because I think we had them by the neck. We had them ready to kill them off, right? And then we just lost our heads with the tackle by the double-footed tackle by Udogie, and then the petulant flick by Romero. But they must have said something to him, but he's got to hold his cool. He has to make sure that he doesn't do this type of thing and cost us the match.
Though, Ellie, I'll be honest. I just think people are making too much of the Romero one. We've all played the game. He's gone to clear the ball. The guy's right in front of him. I encourage everybody after that game.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking
okay.
about
Not
where he kicked.
one. Okay.
Where he
yeah.
But
Colwell, she's talking about the Colwell
I agree
part.
with you that they're right. He won that ball, right? And then Enzo, he knew if he rushed towards the ball that he's going to be caught in the crossfire. He knew it, right? And he knew he'd get a penalty because it's Romero, right?
Yep.
So I'm sure Pochettino said to them before they went out, play on Romero, because he will give it to you. If you give it to him, he will try and get you back, right? But that tackle, I thought that was a superb tackle. And I don't get why people think, because you can't stop your body going forward. You can't. No. You're committed in the tackle. You've won the ball, right? And his body's moving forward, and then Enzo comes charging in. I don't agree with a lot of people who say that was a red card. I just can't agree with them.
There's a big conversation around Romero though at the minute, Ellie. Is he a liability?
No. I think he's fantastic. You look at his stats. Will Stewart had a lot of his stats as well recently on another show. And he wins on every metric over Saliba, who everybody's lauding. Everybody says Saliba this, Saliba that. But Romero, I love him. I think he's the old school defender that goes in hard, He makes sure that striker knows he's going to get it. If he like what he did against last season against Haaland. He gave it to him. Right? I love players like that who are really committed, but he doesn't go in to harm the player. That one where he on Enzo, he didn't go to harm the player. Let's get one thing straight. He didn't.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my opinion. If anybody disagrees with me, that's fair enough. I value other people's opinions as well. You know.
I think he just wants to put fear into the opposition player, Ellie, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with trying to make, the opposition player have to think about you more than others, right? And that's all Romero wants. It's just for him to get in your head a little bit and for you to be nervous, basically, when you have the ball at your feet because you feel like there's going to be a guy that's about to come clattering through you, basically. And he there's a skill in that to sort of, strike fear into your sort of opponent. And that's what Romero does. And he doesn't do it in the malicious ways, I think, that people say he does. He's just more physical, more aggressive than your average defender. And that's what makes it, kind of a skill of his, is that he does strike fear into opposition players. And I like defenders like that personally, Ellie. That's the type of defender I can get behind.
Yeah. That's why I'm working on Mia with Højbjerg, because I'll give her a bit every day, but she's not having it.
Striking fear into her.
She gave it to me the other day, right, when I posted something on our private chat, right? So we had a little bit of a Barney and then we made up. But the thing is, I always think with Mia, with Romero, she's very much like him as a person as well. Like, she's fiery, but her bark is better. Was it the bark is worse than the bite, or the other way round? Right? But I like that.
Yeah, I've heard the saying. I'm not sure what way around that.
I like that in a person. That's why I love Graham Roberts. That's why I love Dave Mackay. I didn't see a lot of him, but what I saw and what I watched back with my dad, because my dad was a massive Spurs supporter, and all my brothers, we used to watch all the old players. And that's what I encourage people to do, because then they'll think Romero's a pussycat compared to those players, But you know what? I think he doesn't need to calm down. What he's got to do is make the right tackle. Yeah. If you like, who's it? The great Maldini. He said, if I had to tackle, then I'm not doing my job.
Yeah. If I had to go to ground, I'm not doing my job. Yeah, right? Great.
He's like, I called him the submarine, Romero, because he sniffs out danger. He when you watch him, right, he looks around what's going on, right, and when there's danger, he's there. He's the first one there to snuff it out, and that's what you need in a team. Otherwise, we would lose a lot more matches without him, and it's shown. Yeah, he went off. We lost the match. We didn't have him against Wolves. We lost the match. I'm not saying that's the only reason why we lost the match, but it's a very big reason, because he snuffs out a lot of danger, Romero, and his through balls are fantastic, and his pressing is really, really on point as well. So we're missing him big time, and we're not going to see him until Newcastle.
Well, Ellie, just to maybe finish off on Romero, I've got two sort of not contradicting comments that say two different things. That's the right thing. I can't remember the word. But Nick Brown says Romero's key to the cause and rid us of our reputed soft underbelly, which Spurs have had for many years, which I agree with.
Yeah.
And then we've got King Huddle, who comes in and says the different. Romero would be brilliant in the 80s. This isn't the 80s.
I understand, because I saw Shawnee with you the other day as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I was watching that with bated breath.
Look, I was host. I couldn't come back too much. I was playing the host role.
Because I come from a very, very tough, competitive family, right? We're all like that. And we like that type of player. We like the fully committed player who will give it to you. And if they give him jib, he'll give them jib back. Right? I like that full-blooded, red-blooded player who gets stuck in, I don't like wussies who pull out of tackles. We had one in Winks, didn't we? Thank God he's gone, right? Because he's not going to win you matches. Romero wins you matches from his hard work, because people don't realise how hard he works as well, right?
Do you know what, Ellie? I was actually thinking about this earlier on. For me, I don't think Romero's the problem. Like, look, yeah, okay, it's not ideal to pick up red cards, right? But red cards come with part and parcel of being a centre back. Ideally, you want to limit the amount.
Of course.
But the problem is the backup, right? The only reason why people scream about Romero and the suspension that he gets is because the backup that comes in is so shit. But in reality, at other top clubs, if they get suspension, don't even complain about, okay, no bother, just bringing the next guy, go input in the performance. But because we don't have that, I think personally it gets highlighted a lot more.
Yeah, it's true. Look, if you go back, not even to the 80s, you go back to the great Chelsea team with John Terry. He got sent off a lot of times, John Terry. Did anybody question his commitment? Did anybody say he was a crap player? No, they bigged him up because he was a fantastic captain for Chelsea, and they won countless trophies because of it, because of his leadership. Roy Keane, the same. All right, you're going into a different era, but football is football. If you're a wuss and you're soft underbelly, like Jose Mourinho, is it Jose Mourinho?
No.
Sorry, I'm getting it right because he's Portuguese, right? Jose Mourinho, right? He said you have to be CUNTs. You have to be, because if you're not, right, they will walk all over you, and even the lesser teams will take advantage of it. All right, I'm not saying you have to be like killers. You don't have to be killers, but you have to pick your times when you're going to be physical, you know. And sometimes you can get away with it. Like Romero, he's very clever at getting away with a lot of red cards as well. Because I'm sure, like, sometimes he'll go in and he won't pull out, but he'll just to put enough on it, you know, to win that ball, right? But I know he's got more in him, but sometimes he's very clever. So, yeah, there's arguments on both sides, but me personally, I'm for the full-blooded, you know, get stuck in player. Come on.
I know you would be. I know you would be. Ellie, absolutely love that. Another great call in today. I really, really enjoyed that. Really great conversation on Romero and the back line. But look, what's coming up on Just the Girl Who Loves Spurs? What are you crazy trio doing next?
Yeah, the crazy three ladies. Yeah, we're doing just a girl loves Spurs. We do every day. We've got a show on with either Kate, me, Jim, and then we sort of alternate it. And then we've introduced To Dare Is to Debate as well, which is doing very well. We're going to get you lads on as well. Don't you worry. All right, you'll be getting your invitations in the post.
Nice.
Or probably through WhatsApp. Right,
wax,
so
wax field and everything, I hope.
Wax Lyrical, yeah. We had Ash on the other day, and the first show we had Bobby and Kuva, and was it Ben? Yeah, and Ben. So you know what? That show, I think it's going to take off because it's got a good title as well, and then we got another show in the pipeline, which was it wasn't my idea. We all thought of a fun show to have. And I gave it the name. It's all about the banter, right? So we're going to have a really good fun with that as well. So I'm really looking forward because I really get on with Mia and Kate. Yeah, we're all feisty ladies. We all know our football, you know, and you know
you keep me going on lunchtime when you're on. You know that, you know, when you have that show on today's debate, it keeps me going. Well, I'm sitting here at the computer plotting what we're going to do in the evening time. So it's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But Ellie, I really do hope you enjoy yourself at the Villa game. And look, long overdue a phone call. I'll give you a phone call during the week.
And one thing I want to say is big up the Free Spurs boys and Talk and Ball, because I love those shows as well.
Well done, Ellie. You're really good at supporting everybody across the community, Ellie. You're very good at that.
I don't know where you get time.
And also Ben's show, the Coffee Company, because that show is so much fun. You've got to tune in sometimes, guys, because it's absolutely brilliant. And you're going to have a right old crack. And I know you Irish and I know you Americans, you like a laugh.
Well said, Ellie. Well said. And thanks for coming on and keeping us company this Friday evening. I hope you have a good weekend.
You, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Let's go and beat the Villa.
Come on, smash the villains. Exactly right, Ellie. We'll see you soon. Have a good weekend.
Big up, Ellie. Have a good weekend, my dear. Enjoy yourself. Oh, she's actually brilliant at games, by the way. She's so enthusiastic towards the team. So me and Kate are going to have a right old trip there this weekend, and hopefully they really do enjoy themselves. But look, we better keep this going. We better speed up the process a little because I do have to be off for 9 p.m. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guests to get through. So let's keep it going. Who we got next, Jacko?
Time for Adrian Brown. Let's see what Adrian Brown has to say. He's been waiting patiently, and I'm not sure if you've had the pleasure of being on with him yet, Dave. So another chance for us to speak with a kind of a newer guest, on these fan shows. Look forward to it. Adrian B.
I look forward to these. Let's bring him on. Let's hear what Adrian has to say. Big up, Adrian.
Hi guys, how you doing? You're right. Big up to all. Big up to us watching. Big up to the world. Bit of a bad week in the thing, so we need this football back, and this club football is back.
Yes,
so I've been looking forward to it.
It's just about losing the will to live, my man.
Oh, it's just I hate internationals. I mean, obviously, you always want to support your country's team, but you always get a bit nervy when it comes to injuries and things like that, especially for us at the moment. I'm just sort of glad that none of ours has really affected too much. But all good. So
just quickly on the international football. Where do you stand with Southgate, man? Do you think there should be a change before the next tournament? Do you think he should be getting more out of the squad?
Well, with international football and that, with Southgate, I mean, I just think he's coming to his time in a way. If I was going to be completely honest, I mean, I'm hoping the Euros will be his last outing. I don't know if he signed the contract for the World Cup. I haven't. See, I'm more of a club football man than an international, so I don't know if he signed up for the World Cup. But we've got Germany Euros in Germany next, and then we've got the draw in December, haven't we? So we'll just have to see and what we go on that. So, but I'm just glad that club football's back because that's where my passion is. I want to see it's our escapism from all this troubles that we've been having over the last week. We need something to focus on, and hopefully, I know it's not great at the moment, but we need to put a bit of a positive spin on this. I think we can do this if we put our minds to it. I mean, I'm from a town called Stevenage, and the last FA Cup we've actually beaten Aston Villa in the knockout round. So there is hope in that, so we're going to do something really good.
Do you have any strong opinions of how we could beat Aston Villa? Do you feel like we could get at that high line? So I think King Hoddle had a stat where no team has had more offsides than Aston Villa, and like the team in second is miles behind. So they really do go full in on that offside trap. Is there a way we can exploit it?
With the offside, well, unfortunately, all our best players are really off, and it's really frustrating. That's the main part. I mean, we got Basuma that's still off at the moment. He's got still a red, hasn't he? And Romero's off. But the good news, we've got Udugi's coming back, I believe. Is he coming back into the team? So hopefully that's something that's good for us. Yeah, so he'll hopefully will help with the size and that. But I mean, Bentancur, we've got Bentancur coming back, but obviously I think he's going to still play him at just part of the game. Maybe give him a bit more minutes and most probably put him on, and then hopefully he's going to reverse it because I think the last few games he's been just bringing him on for the last 20 minutes. So maybe he's going to put him on from the beginning and take him off near the end.
What sort of performance do you think we can expect from Bentancur?
I think he's been having a good. He had a good international, so I think he's getting to that form. Bentancur reminds me of that kind of guy. He's hungry for his goals, or he's hungry for that. Passing. You can see he's just hungry all the time for that ball. It's like a Madison, and that's where his positions are. They both do tremendously, and I think. If he's back on form and everything else like that, we could do pretty well. I think he's going to change the game for us, to be honest, on Sunday. Which constantly I won't be able to watch it. I'll be working, so I'll have to put
Working on the weekends, that's a crime, lad.
I know it's only you have to do it. It's a part of the job of being a bus driver and that. So, it has to be done. It's just my
Say you're a
turn,
bus driver.
unfortunately. So. Sorry, yeah, bus driver, yeah,
Wow,
around North London.
big
and all that
responsibility,
sort of
man.
area, so.
Yeah,
Around
swinging
North
them
London
big
area.
buses
Sorry?
around tight streets.
Around North London area. Maybe
Yeah,
Dave and
yeah,
I, last
yeah.
time we were there, we might have been on your bus on the way to the game or something
Well,
like that.
yeah. Well, it's more North Hertfordshire area that I
Yeah.
tend to do anyway.
For
So
sure.
yeah,
Mm.
so it's all good. And if any Arsenal fans come on my bus, I make sure I run through every single pothole possible to make sure they have the most uncomfortable journey going.
All of a
So,
sudden, the
and
fare
if you're a
doubles.
Tottenham supporter, you get the nice, luxury, cruise through journey
Aircon turned on.
from me.
Hold on. Love
Nice
it.
one.
So
Love it.
yeah, it's all good.
What other shape do you what shape the rest of the midfield for me? CELSO, Højbjerg, Skip, maybe an experiment of a Kulusevski or Gil Messi coming in there. Where shape the rest of the midfield? What would you like to see this Sunday?
Well, I'd like to see obviously Bentancur there. That's all officers. The South Side I want to come and see a bit more of. And all the hype from the beginning of the season. Was it a good choice keeping him? I suppose it has to, especially at the moment with all the injuries and everything else like that. Yeah, I mean the South Side for sure. We want who else is there? You've got Skip. Skip's okay. Holberg. See, Holberg, this is where I get a little bit. I said this last time, didn't I, Jack? I mean, it seems like the old team. We play the old team, it goes back into the old ways.
Yeah.
We was doing great for the first 10 minutes on that last game,
Yep.
and it just all sort of went to pot after that. It went back to, let's just keep our score as long as possible again. And we've got to stop coming out there. We've always got to make sure we're attacking. But I'm sure Ange has gone in there and given them, what for. But that's the risk when you play Dyer, Holberg, and they start to think, let's go back to the old way. But we should always go forward.
I agree with you, Adrian.
And that's why
I think you and I joked about, remember the days under Jose and Conte where we used to get worried about scoring first and scoring early because then it meant we were just going to sit back for the rest of the game.
Definitely.
And it's not like we were trying to do that, but it looked like we were doing that in that game, even though we weren't trying to. I think Ange didn't want us to do that. There was a bit of that mentality that started to kind of, shift in a bit. And I think you're right on that. It's not a coincidence that some of the old players come into the team. All of a sudden, that sort of kind of, play style, comes about.
It just sort of sinks back into it again, doesn't it? It's like,
factory settings.
They panic, and all that sort of thing. And it's, let's keep it, it's safe and everything, but you've got to push forward. And that's the main thing. That's what his message has always been from the start since joining the club. Make sure you push forward, get all them attacks in there. And I looked at the statistics over the last few months and the amount of times, how many passes we've done into the frontal area. It's been surpassed everything. Shots on goals and everything. Okay, last couple of games, but then obviously we've been playing poorly on that. That's why we're not getting it. So statistically, you need to make sure you're up and up front, making sure you get every possible chance of scoring them goals. I mean, it might not work out all the time, but you'll eventually get one. And I'm sure that's the message he's trying to get through to the team.
Are we creating enough chances though, Adrian? Because this is something that maybe I've been saying to Jack for quite some time now. That even when we were winning them games, I was saying to Jack, it's not quite right. I don't think we're creating enough chances or even enough clear-cut chances. I'd argue sometimes I think we created more clear-cut chances under Conte than what we do under Ange Postecoglou. And that's not a dig at Ange Postecoglou, but I just want to know, maybe am I being harsh, or do you think we should be creating more chances? Because I'd argue that front three just isn't quite right yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's got really, I mean, it's the wingers going into the box. I mean, that's been improved quite a lot, I think, from previous seasons, where it goes in the front and going from, I mean, it's just getting used to it. And not being, there are some players that are on the wing that not up to scratch or, in the strikers. Ricardo's has done better being in the wing rather than being a four striker. But, I mean, he's really meant to be our crown signing. He should be there scoring them goals. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on the guy. Every player goes through it, especially if you're going for a drought. So, I only want positive things to come from it. But you know, they will come a time, like I think I said this last time to Jack, is that it will come a point where we're just going to have to say, no, sorry, we've got to have somebody else in. And that's what we've got to be looking at in the windows and that. So, and more for centre backs. I mean, it's a shame that Ashley Phillips is not fit enough for the game. I would love to see some of the younger, you know, players come in. Might be a bit of a big game though with Aston Villa. So we'll just have to see, really. But it's a, you know, I think if we'd be positive on Sunday, I think we should be able to get it through. Obviously, we'll just want at least a draw or a win. But I mean, I'll be happy with a draw. I don't want to see a lose. I think, you know, they don't need to be in that position, and we need to get out.
Do you worry?
It's a bit of a blip.
Do you worry if it's a tight scoreline come the end of the game, a bit like the Wolves game? You know, would that make you nervous? And you know, how do you think that back line will react this time? Do you think they'll react any differently to the tight scoreline near the end of the game? Because I think that Dyer and Davies practically shot the bed. You know, come the end of the game in possession both times. You know, sort of led from them giving away the ball. So do you think they'll react any differently if it is a tight scoreline?
Well, hopefully they've learned from the last game. And if they have been watching all the criticism that's been, you know, especially with Dyer at the moment. I mean, Davis, he was playing really good just till really to the last 5-10 minutes. It's almost like they're giving up any hope. But, you know, it's, you know, I mean, I said it with Dyer. Dyer always tends to give up. He always plays it safe. And, you know, the whole point of, you know, you were talking about Romero, where he'll go in. He'll actually go in to use his physicality to go for the balls, and it's just unfortunate that last time with the red card. It was. I can agree with Ellie. It was one of those tackles. It's very debatable. It's just it's a natural reaction at the end of the day. But I think what it should have been, if he's what they need to, what I think what they were trying to look for is that at least have a try of putting your foot down. I think because it was up, that's where, you know, we had to get the red. And we had to admit on that side because the studs were hitting the leg itself. But it's very hard. How can you say that to yourself when you're actually in that moment? You know, to try and put your foot down to make it look like you are trying to thing. But on the time, it did look like it's going straight through. But you know, that's football. With VAR, obviously, it's going to catch you more. And you know, again, you got to have a bit of physicality in the game. You can't let VR ruin that in that aspect of it all.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I think VR's trying to. It's not trying. It's just killing the physicality of the game because you know I think what the concept I think they failed to grasp is these collisions are happening at a much higher speed. And we've all played the game. Sometimes it doesn't hurt, you know, these collisions at high speed. But when you slow everything down, you will find what you want to look for. And that's my biggest problem with it. It's absolutely killing the game. You've got mindless idiots who don't know the rules of football. So we have to change the rules of football for them. And then which is affecting the game I love, which annoys me every single weekend. But Adrian, last question for you, my man. Great conversation. Really have enjoyed this. Sorry, Jack, I've took all the questions on you on this.
No, I was laughing at your comments there, you know, towards you know, with the game being changed by, you know, people just not knowing the rules. I was just laughing at that. It's funny. But sorry, last question for you, Adrian. Go ahead.
Yeah, transfer window. I was just going to ask you, you know, what do you think we need this January? Because rumors are they've already been pre-planning it. So I expect off the back of the courts today, we can see some business happening and that maybe there's a bit of a plan behind it. What do you want to see this January? What do we need?
Well, we definitely need centre backs. That's obvious. I mean, we need at least one centre back, a good one. You know, obviously he's been proven, and you know, and like I said last time, we need to make sure we put our hands in our pockets. We shouldn't be stingy about this. This is, like I say, it's going to be now. This window is going to be a choice of either going for the top spot or we're just going to go for the fourth spot. And I would like to see the club, if they're so serious, that they'll put their money in it and go for the big one. I mean, we can. I think it's possible if we can get some really good signings in there. There's some names in the background that's been obviously put forward and that, and some to our advantage because obviously they've been played for, with Ange, so they know his style of game. I mean, especially if we could get Jota. I mean, Jota would be a nice little signing. We can get him, I think. Never played. I mean, coming out for, coming out for the thing, he needs to get his speed and train. So let's not be too harsh on him on the first couple of games. But I think he'll be a good signing. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the transfer window, and and we do. I think we do need to. I mean, we need to start thinking about replacing Richarlison. I think it's to that point now that you can only give somebody so much chance. But he could prove me wrong, and I could change my mind in the next few months. You know what I mean? So it goes to show how
Somehow
much
I don't think so, Adrian.
Yeah, he's only got
Somehow I
about a
don't
month,
think
not
so.
even a few months. He's only got about a month
I
to do
know.
it, Adrian. And he's probably one of the few players this January that we could actually, not saying turn a profit with or anything, but we could actually get some cash for if we needed it, right? We could get 30 million, it feels like, for him at least, potentially this winter window, and that could be valuable cash, whatever other moves we're trying to make here. But any other sort of,
get much, are we? Yeah,
any
we're
other
not going
sort
to get
of
much on most of the place. Sorry.
no, yeah, no, you're fine. I was just gonna say, any final observations before we let you go this evening ahead of this game?
Unfortunately, we're going to make a little bit of a loss with some of the players, but I think some of these need to go. I mean, if Dyer goes, I'm happy to do that. Yeah, Dyer, I know that. Even on my FC thing, the first thing I did on that game was bye Dyer. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to make a bit of a loss, but I mean, it needs to be done at some point. Yeah, it's hard because you have such a bond with some of them because they've been with the club for so long, and that's the trouble, isn't it? When you're at a club for so long, the loyalty's there. So it's very harsh. But I mean, we've got to go to next evolution. That's what it is about. It's the next lot, the next generation coming across. But
Absolutely.
yeah, excellent.
No, I was just going to say, absolutely spot on. I mean, instead of loaning these players out and still paying them, the majority of their wages while they're out on loan and everything else, letting them run down their contract, you just got to take whatever fee you can get for them and ship them on. Be ruthless, because all it's doing is stagnating the progress of Tottenham. We're here yet again talking about the same individuals, that we have been for the last 3 to 4 years, and we really do need to move on from that. And the only way by doing that is stop commanding such a high fee or trying to recoup what you paid, except you bought a dud, and move on. But Adrian, really appreciate your time this evening. Really appreciate you calling in, my man. And
that's all right.
I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Hope to see you next time, Adrian.
Come
Monday,
on, Spurs for Sunday. So okay. I'm hoping for at least a 2-1. I think for us,
a lot of people are going for that one. A lot of people are going for a 2-1.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm on the 2-1 as well. I was saying that to Jack beforehand. But look, stay safe over the weekend. Hopefully work isn't too busy. Hopefully, there's a problem with the bus, so you can have time off to watch the game or something. That'd be nice.
There'll be ways. There'll be ways. There's always a way. If there will, there's always a way.
Have a Spurs fan at the back with the phone holding up to the mirror so you can look in the mirror, lad.
You'd be surprised. I've had that. I've had people just telling me as they're driving along. You know what I mean? So it's there's been many stories with people in fact when it comes to Tottenham and that. But they're trapped. Adrian. You see, they can't escape me if once they're in the bus. I've got a captivated audience, as they say.
Yep, nice.
That's what you want, my man. That's what you want. Well, Adrian, we'll speak to you again very, very soon, my man.
Will do. All the best now, lads. Keep it.
All right. Have a good night. Have a good weekend, Adrian. See you, my man. See you, my man.
Really enjoyed that conversation with Adrian. Really nice guy. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of his chair, by the way. He looks more comfy than me.
I enjoyed my call with him last time, and he does have a good looking chair. Maybe Sean would be jealous of that chair because it's not as colorful, but it's looks to be similarly cushioned in a way. Looks comfortable. Big up to Adrian, absolute legend. Dave, I know you have your show later. Can you take another guest, or shall we let you go now?
Yeah. No, I've got half an hour. I've got half an hour, so
Okay.
we're good.
Don't want to make you late at all. Don't want to make you late at all. Faz Radfar, I think we tried to respond to you, in the comments,
Yeah.
but big up to you, my man. Really do appreciate your support. And like we brought up earlier, we do try to sort of make all opinions, viewpoints feel comfortable, or at least that, they can feel, comfortable in expressing them, because we're not really the type of people to try to shout anybody down or pick anybody apart or anything like that. And these are coming from two guys that I think, again, are very strong on their own opinions. I think Dave and I have very strong opinions of our own, but we don't try to shout anybody down or anything like that. So we do appreciate you, Fazzy. And as you like to do, 3-1 Spurs. Maybe we'll get one of those score lines against the Aston Villa. Big up to you, Faz. Hopefully you're all right this weekend. And I bet you're going to the game. I know you've been going to a lot of the games this season. So hopefully you have a good weekend lined up for you. Big up, Faz.
Yeah, look, I don't know if you can hear me, Jack. My camera's gone. But yeah, big up, Faz, my man. Hopefully you have a great time at the game this weekend. And hopefully we can get the win. Honestly, when I'm over there next, we have to meet up, my man. We really do. It'd be nice to meet you as well. It's been such a long time. So big up, Faz. And look, hopefully we do get the win. Hopefully we do get the win. And look, we try to be respectful to our views. Like I said, sometimes people enlighten me. Only sometimes. But look, let's keep this. Jack, I'm just going to log out, log back in.
Okay, no worries. I'll bring in the next guest. I'll bring in the next guest. It's KPV time. Time for the man who lets the dogs out each weekend to give us his preview of this game. KPV, what's up, man?
Not much. Just been out for a nice KFC and just came back and watching Harry Klaassen break in a record for Bayern Munich. Most goals in the Bundesliga by an Englishman. He's now surpassed the great.
He's playing early on Friday night, KPV. Do you wish that Spurs were playing on Friday night, or are you kind of glad that, we get that extra time till Sunday?
I wish we was playing Friday. I wish we was playing Friday again like we did against Crystal Myth FC, known as Crystal Palace. We played
a KFC with some Spurs on a Friday night. That'd be nice. KPV, that sounds like good vibes. Sounds like nice vibes.
Yeah, wish we was playing Friday again, because we played on a few Fridays before and it's worked pretty well. But played Mondays. Yeah, been okay, but not the Chelsea one. Okay, not good.
You going into this game confident, KPV, or are you going into it nervous? Because a lot of Spurs fans, with all the injuries and everything, we're not as confident as we were a few weeks ago.
I'm going into the game a bit nervous. Like Villa at home, they have the ex-Gooner manager who we can't seem to beat. But as I said, Big Ange is in town, and Big Ange is going to end his winning streak against us. Big Ange is going to end Unai Emery's winning streak against Tottenham, because we can't seem to beat him. Yeah, that was only in a Carabao Cup when he was at Arsenal, not Prem. But we have to end his winning streak, and Sunday it's going to end. I said it last season against Chelsea was going to end then. I said against United this season. And Liverpool, I've got 3 right so far. Let's make this number 4 right. And we've beaten everyone in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so we've beaten everybody. Villa, we've already beaten them 2 times. So 2 times we've beaten. They've got 2 wins there. So they're not going to get a 3rd win. They're not going to be us back to back season, because that's not going to happen. Never has happened and never will. So it's time to get revenge against Villa, because the last 5 meetings they, I believe, won 3. We've only won 2. So time to get a 3rd win against them. They're not going to make it 4 wins, because that'll be 6 meetings and they're not going to beat us. So revenge is coming this Sunday, and it's time to get revenge against the villains. That's their name, the villains, because they've got not so good players. The only one I like is Ollie Watkins, and he's
Are you sure? KPV, do you see Gabby Abangalore? He pretty much put 11 Aston Villa players into his combined 11 with Tottenham. Did you get to see that?
What did he do?
Gabby put I think 9 of the 11 for a combined 11 with Aston Villa. 9 of them were Aston Villa players.
Delusional, man. Delusional. Scumbag, man. Don't like the guy. He doesn't know nothing. He put 9 Villa players in. Some of them could miss the game. I hear John McGinn might not play, because
Oh, that would be a big help for us. He's been on
That would
fire, I
be
feel like,
good,
recently.
because he always seems to turn up. Like, yeah, he actually scored when they just got promoted in 2019 and we won 3-1 on the opening day. So that was 2019. So he ain't gonna score again because he's only scored 2 goals. So don't really like him, I don't, because he's from Scotland. No offense to all the Scottish people out there, but I don't think I'm gonna get him because he's not good. Like, I can't stand him. I don't like Joe Linton either. So 2 people who seem to turn up against us. I don't like him. So let's end that. Let's end Unai Emery's winning win against Tottenham on Sunday, and yeah, let's end it, and hopefully they
Let's give
won't
him an
lose
evening to remember, KPV. Let's give him a good smashing.
Sunday to remember. And Son scored a hat trick against Villa, if I'm not mistaken, when we brought Kulu and Bentancur under Conte. We won 4-0. Kulu scored and Son got a hat trick at Villa Park. So let's make that happen again. Big Ange, we need to win. We're not going to lose 3 on the bounce. I don't like it. 3 lost on the bounce, not going to happen. So we need to bounce back. Like, we need a win, man. I don't want to lose 3 on the bounce because I don't know if that's ever happened before.
It'll be 3 on the bounce if we lose to Villa because we lost Chelsea and Wolves. KPV, if we don't win, would you be nervous about where the season could potentially end up?
I'll be fuming if we lose because I hear we could face a point deduction, but that is just a load of bullshit. Like, the FA are talking about investigating the first transfer to Portsmouth in 2008. Like, jog on. Like, he actually received his winner's medal for the Carling Cup because he actually played a part in getting us to win that trophy. So I don't know why the FA are looking into that. Like, he actually received the medal when we won it. So I don't know why the FA are looking into that. Like, it's not our problem. It's them that should be ashamed. But I'm not having it. So
the unlicensed agent is acting like a loser, KPV. That's what he's doing. He lost out because he didn't get his license. Now he's crying about it. He wants his money.
My theory, KPV, is that Spurs have actually been almost the opposite of most other clubs in sort of their financial dealings, in that our books are quite clean in comparison to most other clubs. I think that's where the Premier League is kind of worried. You know, they're about to punish every other team, and then they've realized that Spurs don't actually have that much dirt really in their accounts. And, you know, they don't want to see Spurs end up, you know, benefiting from everybody else dropping points and getting fines and everything like that. So they're trying to find a way to slap a fine and slap a point deduction on Spurs because they know everybody else is going to get one.
Yeah, but we ain't done nothing wrong, so I don't know why they're gonna probably get us to have 10 points deducted like Everton did, and City should be stripped of their titles, obviously, because they've already got 115 charges, and Chelsea really should be stripped of the Champions League. They won 2012, including that one. When if Bayern Munich had not lost the final to Chelsea and Munich, then we would have actually gone into it. We would have been go back into it if Bayern Munich hadn't have lost. But Chelsea kicked it. They didn't knock us out because we went in it, but they just beat Bayern in Germany. Like, no, they should be stripped of it. Like, just strip them and give it to Bayern because it was in their own city and they've got some world-class players. They had Lahm, who was an absolute baller. He can defend, but yeah, lucky those lot. I watched it, unfortunately, but stripped Chelsea of the Champions League from 2012 and 2021. So I don't like.
Is threatening on Liverpool, KPV? We can strip them of 2019 Champions League and we can have that.
Yeah, strip Liverpool of it because I think the Spurs web stood on Twitter like, "See you in Madrid, Jurgen." Like, and Jan Vertonghen, I love what he said. Count me in, and yeah, Jan, get on the phone to Toby, mate. Get your boots on and replay it because I've seen it, but it came off Sissoko's chest, not here. So the VR need to have a good look at it again, the replay and revenge because we've only got Son and Lloris, those two who were in the Champions League final. And yeah, but the reason why we lost is because of Poch starting Kane, which was not right. He wasn't 100% fit. Lucas Mourapid should have started, but bad mistake by Poch. Still, he regrets it, but this is not right. But yeah, we're gonna win Sunday, and we got, I believe, City, West Ham and Newcastle, but I'm definitely going to West Ham game because I'm doing my membership, and it's on Thursday at 8 o'clock. So I'll be going to another Premier League game. That's the
Nice.
second time on a Thursday. That's the second time on a Thursday I've been since 2021 when I saw Ben and Tim at the Brentford game. So
You'll have to bring a toothpick with you, burst all them bubbles.
at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, yeah, like, and I disagree with what CPFC said. A Palace fan, Madison is not poor. Romero is well class, so, and he is not better than Romero. So do one, mate, because we've got more well class players than you ever have. So stay away from this because it's Tottenham only, and you're not welcome on Irish Hotspur. So don't come on there, or else you know what's going to happen, mate. Because you do not want to make me angry. Boom, knockout, mate. So stay off the channel, but I will find you. So stay off it. Romero is better than Gray. Gray ain't won nothing. Romero just won the World Cup. And so, boom, Argentina better than England. I don't give a fuck. Stay off the channel, or you know what's going to happen. I will get a crew and I'll knock your face out, mate. So, gotta stay away from me, man, because I don't like you.
He was on the wind up yesterday, I think, KPV, the Palace fan. Don't mind him. Don't let him get to you like that, lad. Don't let him get to you like that, brother.
Because he doesn't know nothing about Palace, and they don't have any world-class players because they ain't won nothing since they got promoted in 2013. So we always battered them, but they can't beat us. So cry more you want, Palace fan, but you can't beat us. You've only won once, and that was under an ex-Schooner. So anyway,
just give him a Romero sandwich next time, KPV. 2-footed challenge. Just give him a 2-footed challenge.
And yeah, Argentina, I want to say, hopefully that Brazil Argentina fan, whatever it was is okay, because I watched it and I see a cop actually must have been fighting him with a weapon, made him bleed. So it needs to stop. Messi's white, and yeah, well done Argentina beating Brazil. But actually, guys, a year ago today, Richarlison scored probably one of the best World Cup goals in World Cup history, a scissors kick against Serbia. So people, you want to watch Real Tottenham TV because they actually done the watch along for it. So make sure you watch it. And I watched it, and yeah, 2 great goals. Just a shame he didn't win a Puskas Award for it, because it would have been 3 on a bounce. Son, Lamella, and Richie. So another robbery, but Vicario was robbed of save of the month for October. So I don't know why Sanchez won, but
we need a big performance from Big Vic, KPV. Who's letting out the dogs this weekend, my man? Who's letting out the dogs for us?
It's gonna be Michael letting the dogs out, man.
Nice.
Big responsibility.
And so Big Vic, another great performance from you on Sunday, my man. Great performance against Chelsea, and I don't know how Mudryk and James did not get sent off in the game, because they would have been down to 9 men just like we were, but unlucky. But we're going to win Sunday because we need to bounce back, because
come on, man.
As people know, the top Man City Liverpool play tomorrow, so interesting. But City will win easily because it's at the empty had, as we call it, empty had. And
well, look,
I can't believe it's been nearly 13 years since we reached the knockout stage of the Champions League when we beat Werder Bremen, and the squad that time was Gomez, Welch, and William Gala. So everyone watched the highlights of the game, and I watched it. So 13 years ago, 2010, we reached the knockout. So big up to everyone in the chat. I'm off because tomorrow night the Viper Randy Orton's returning at Survivor Series. So
here he goes. Don't set him off.
RKO out of nowhere to Amy Martinez and John McGinn. So Antonio Emery. RKO out of nowhere. So little people. So enjoy the game Sunday, guys. I'm off because
CKPV.
Enjoy
Enjoy the wrestling tomorrow night, my man. Enjoy it.
I'm off, people. So next
we'll RKO the villains for you, my man. We'll RKO Aston Villain for you.
Next, my man. So I'll see you soon, mate. And as always, come on, you Spurs. Big Ange we trust. We never stop. Let's go.
Come on,
Let's
KPV.
go, KPV.
Great call.
Come on, you Spurs. Great call. See you
Bye,
soon,
Dave.
my man.
See you, my man.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
He was
Oh, he shares
flexing
out
that
the-
trivia knowledge at the end there, Dave. I mean, he was like, he should do like the on this day, 14 years ago, 15 years ago. He should do that stuff, KPB. You'd be great at that, the trivia knowledge there.
Be
Love
all
that.
over it. All
Love
over
that.
it. All over it. I'd lay down the law with the Palace fan. Absolutely love that, KPV. Absolutely love it. But look, Jack, I think I have time to get to one more guest with you before I have to head off. My man, who have we got next?
Well, you'll enjoy this one, Dave. It's going to be the Tron next. You get to have a good chat with the Tron before you go off and watch the toy show. And then we have Michael and then Bobby K last, but certainly not least, everybody. And anybody that's been holding on to the link, I can have a chat with you, but Dave, won't be able to. Dave has to go. So everybody, really, if you haven't already, smash that like button, get your comments in, but we're going to keep this moving. Go on to the Tron. Bring him in here, Dave.
Go. Big up, Tron. How are you, my man?
Not too bad, lads. How are you this evening? Okay, VP. I'll tell you one thing. You could be down in the dumps, depressed, and he'll come on and cheer you up within 5 minutes. And God help that Palace fan if he ever catches up with him.
He always makes me smile, KPV. Absolutely love it. And he comes with so much trivia knowledge. It's brilliant.
I've been working in the background on my pre-record I have to do, and I've been literally in stitches. I literally had to stop what I was doing and just watch him because he was just fucking hilariously funny.
Yeah,
he should be a stand-up comedian.
What's on your mind this weekend, Dermatron? What are your thoughts ahead of this game? I know you're a confident man. You always go into games, maybe more confident than others, but what are your thoughts ahead of this one? Surely you're slightly more nervous or more skeptical.
I'm nervous in one sense because we've got Dyer and Davis at the back. So that would make anyone nervous. I mean, that would send you to be an alcoholic if them two were defenders for all the time. But look, I'm always confident we can beat any of them. We can whip them all because we're Tottenham Hotspur, and we shouldn't be fearful, or we shouldn't go into any game thinking we can't win this or we're not going to do well. Look, we've got to be cautious because we've got Destiny back, brilliant. But with the two centre backs, they've got to keep. I said it earlier on my show. You have to keep for 95 plus minutes. You can't do 90 minutes and think that's enough. It isn't good enough. What happened at Wolves wasn't good enough. And we cannot go through that again. Ange won't let them players do that again. And look, I'm a massive Højbjerg fan. He wasn't good enough. And look, we've got to be realistic. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a close game. We'll nick it 2-1 or 3-2. We're going to win it by the odd goal. But I can't see us dominating it. But
do we have the do we have the bottle? Do we have the metal? Do we have the nerve to get over a tight game? This is what I'm worried about. For me, I think we have to go and score 2-3 goals. To be honest with you, I'm not sure we have the nerve at the end to hold it out. I think that's one of Dyer and Davies' biggest weaknesses, the mentality. When they know you're winning the game, it's like it plays on their mind more and more and more. It becomes this big, massive thing, and they just forget where they are.
We don't have to bottle. It's as simple as that. We don't have to bottle, but I think Ange would have drilled it into them so much after big up David, after the Wolves game, that they won't do it again. But you can't trust you can't trust Dyer and Davis. It's like telling them, it's like giving them an old lady, right, or an old gentleman, right, bring him to the Tottenham game. They'll probably get lost halfway around the Seven Sisters and them two, and they'll probably start arguing with each other which way do we go. I mean, they remind me of the Teletubbies, Dyer and Davis. Now you can make up your mind which one is which, but I mean, Lana and Poe sound good enough to me. They've got a brain cell between them as size as a pea. They're our central defenders. God help us. Just God. Look. If it wasn't because of Villa's game away from home is awful, I'd be more worried. But I think because of Villa's record away from home, I think we've got a chance. But I'm worried about this one. This game worries me. Man City, you might as well. The Man City game, you might as well just forget that. But Man City's defense leaky, as we saw against Chelsea before the international break. We should go into game with positive thought that we can win it. We can win every game, but we also got to be sensible enough to think, and hang on, we haven't got a full team. and Dyer and Davis at the back. They're called Dyer. Dyer's called Dyer for a reason because he is Dyer.
Look, Dermot, I'll go into every game believing we should win. It's unfortunately about 10 minutes into the game, all that is dwindled out on me when I see Dumb and Dumber on the ball. But look, enough of them. I'm sick of speaking about them.
Can I just say very quickly, when Dave does a watch along and he sees Dumber and Dumber playing, you can see within 5 minutes Dave's face change. Right, he's all happy, he's all chirping. Jack as well, they're all happy. You go over 10 minutes later and they look like they've aged about 50 years.
It's just the way they play. They drain the life out of me. It's so slow, honestly. You know, it's that slow. I'm already looking at ordering next Sunday's dinner. It's a bloody joke, Dermot.
You got Jack saying to the missus, "Give me another APA here. I need one here. I've got the shakes." You got Dave looking around, thinking, "Where's my next cola?" Or
get me a Barocca. I need to stay awake.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go
paper
at
bag
halftime,
so he can calm his breathing down. I think at certain stages.
And then you come at halftime. There's two signs up like Zed's coming out of Dave's head because he's that bored of Dyer and Dave. And by the end of the game, he's so mad. He's got his missus saying, "Now calm down, Dave. Calm down." He's got more holes in his flat than anything because he headbutts him. It's a bit like me. He headbutts the wall when Dyer and Davis make a mistake. God knows how he coped after the Wolves game.
I've learned a new coping mechanism. Sit in the corner in the dark listening to Mozart. It make you realise maybe the world isn't that bad of a place after all, that you have to endure that crap. But Dermot, I want to speak about Destiny Adoji, of course. Yeah. The big dog is back this weekend. My big dog. Is he going to make much of a difference? Because I thought down that left-hand side, we did really lack it attackingly. I missed that underlap and that overlap and that energy that Adoji gives, but also defensively. How important is he going to be this weekend?
It's going to be so important because we did miss it against Wolves. We badly missed it. And look, it's such an important part of Ange's system and of Ange's way of playing. And we have missed him so much. So I'm so over the moon he's playing. And I just hope Papa Sarr plays as well. But look, if it's... Do you
think he'll make it?
Look, if you're not sure, don't play him. Put him on the bench if you're not sure. But I would
risk it, right?
No, you can't risk it. I would start Højbjerg and Bentancur. They played together before. They know how to play together, and put the CELSO in that cam role because he did play well against Brazil, to be fair. And I didn't realize that was Brazil's first defeat ever at home in the World Cup qualifier since the World Cup started in 1930. They've never lost a qualifier game at home. And
you're trying to stay for quite some time now. That Brazil squad ain't a Brazil squad you measure any metric to. It's the worst Brazil squad I've seen in my lifetime.
It is. They're sixth in their qualifying. They might not even qualify for the World Cup. Yeah. That's how bad it is. And
we thought we were bad, right?
No, we're fine. Kenny's gone. I'm throwing pop. The day he left, I had a celebration. It was like hallelujah. He's gone. Bring back Roy Keane.
Just quickly, Dermot. Jack, you want to go and grab a coffee or anything like that? Well, I'll finish off this call with Dermot until you come back. Because I do have to go at 9. So just if you want a coffee or anything like that, feel free.
Sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
No worries. We'll continue this on, Dermot. We'll let Jack take a quick minute. There. No let him have a coffee and a double espresso.
Another EPA. That's what he's going for. You see, I started them off.
What coffee do you think he's going for? I reckon he'll go for a cappuccino.
I reckon you go for an Irish coffee. He'd stick a bit of whiskey in it. You mentioned Dyer Davis, and look, and you can see him. He's going, "Where's the alcohol? Where's it? Quick. Find it. I need it quick." But look, I'm not going to be on doom and gloom with us on Sunday. I'm confident we can win any game. I'm going to do my fan cam, send it over to you tomorrow, and I'll say more on that then. But we should be confident we can beat these guys. We're Tottenham Hotspur, for Christ's sake. We're not. We shouldn't go into a game of we're going to lose it. Doesn't matter if Dyer and Davis are playing. Ange will set us up to win. It's up to them players to follow his instructions. And if they don't follow his instructions, it's not Ange's fault. It's the players' fault. And I said it earlier. We can blame. Somebody said in my comment earlier about Levy not winning for 23 years. We can blame Levy all we want. We can blame previous managers all we want. When are the players ever going to take responsibility for their part in our downfall? When are they going to take responsibility when they go out against Wolves? They don't put in a performance. When are they going to take responsibility? 2 minutes before the end of a game, they can't even protect a 1-0 win.
Yeah.
When are they going to take responsibility for the mistakes they've made, for the cock-ups they've made, for the times they've got to finals and not turned up because they couldn't be bothered?
No, absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. And look, if we do go through this tumultuous period, I just hope that we give Ange Postecoglou and some of the players who have performed for that a period up until some of these backups, give them a bit of reprieve and realize that, you know, the issue right now is still strength in depth in terms of certain areas rather than, you know, sort of put the blame on other people. Because look, we all do it, right? Even me, I'm guilty of it. You know, we lose.
Yeah.
You know, someone has to take the blame. But, you know, I just hope, look, players that have been here for 5-6 years and have suffered the same fate, go after them all you want. I'm not excusing them. Like some new guys that have come in and really done brilliant. Let's not go after them. Let's not go after Ange Postecoglou. Let's actually, you know, persist on getting more strength in depth here in January, that they do a lot more in January. That's what we should be persisting with. Just quick, big up to my niece, Keela. Hopefully you have a great evening watching the toy show. Hopefully you have great fun. I'm off to watch it myself now in a minute. Yeah, enjoy yourself, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Have a great evening. Don't fill yourself with too many sweets. We don't want you getting sick. We don't want you running around like a lunatic either. So, you know, go moderate on the sweets is what I would say.
There's a problem with the toy show in Ireland, Dave. You know, parents fear that show because they know the list for Santa is going to get very, very long.
Huge.
Yeah. And you got poor old Santa. He must dread that show because he's in the North Pole right at the moment, right? He's watching it thinking, oh, that toy show's in Ireland again. Jesus, all the boys and girls are going to... And I hope you've been good, and I hope your niece has been good this year. I'm sure she's been on... I'm sure she's on the good list. Yeah,
she's the best, lad. She's the absolute best.
Just leave out your bit of carrot and a nice drink for Santa because he deserves it. He works hard Christmas Eve. Bless him.
Love it. Yeah. But Dermo, transfer window. Postecoglou spoke today that plans were all underway. What positions do you think we can expect to see being filled?
I'm hearing. I love the transfer window because I love the business of it. I love the news because I get a lot of news from my source, and it's busy, and I love that. We're looking at 2 centre backs and a striker. There will be a striker coming in. That I have heard.
Is it going to be an out-and-out striker, Dermo, or one that can play across the front?
Hearing it's going to be an out-and-out striker. Okay. That's what I'm hearing. I don't look. As soon as I know, I'll let you and Jack know straight away. As soon as I hear anything, you two the first to know. But I know we're going after that, and I know there is a centre back in the works. Now, who it is, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I can't say because I've had to agree to an NDA to a lot of stuff that I've been told, so I can't say until a certain time. Yeah, I've never had. So the fellow I used, he said, "You've got to agree to this." He had told me what it was. I said, "What is it?" I didn't know what it meant. That shows how much I know. But Jota has been looked at. I know that. I know he has had talks with Ange. We've looked at replacements for Richarlison. We looked at a replacement. Dyer has been told he has to leave in January. He cannot stay to the end of summer. So Levy will either sell him or cancel his contract. Dombele is now staying at Galatasaray. He's had a special meeting with the manager. He's agreed to up his kebab donations to 5 a week instead of 4. So that's been sorted out. And he's been told he was 6K overweight when he joined Galatasaray. He's only lost 2 of that. So he's still 3K overweight. So he's nowhere near match fit. And there's a few other little bits and pieces. There will be more outgoings than ingoings. That's what I'm hearing. So, we will get some jobs, some business done. But it will be the more next summer. And we are looking at Vlahovic as well. That is a very one to keep. I've been told to keep an eye out for that one. So keep your eye. We could be going after him now. Not January or the summer. So we're looking after that. And I trust my source very much. He was spot on about Harry Kane a week before everyone else. Sorry, my takeaways just come. So
he was guessing all summer long. I'm not having that. I'm sorry, but he was guessing all summer long. He said Man United. He said Real Madrid. He said PSG. I'm sorry. If he was spot on, he would have said to you from the very beginning, Bayern Munich. So I'm not having that one. But Dermo, please give the channel a plug, my man, because I need to go.
You are a fucker.
No, it's
You're
true. It's true.
I
I'm not having it.
know.
I'm not having it. If he,
No,
if he
you and
knew
me,
where Harry
you
Kane
and
was
me,
going, he would have said Bayern Munich from the very beginning.
you and me have had this going on all summer. But I'll let you go and watch the toy show because I know you want to put on your special pajamas for tonight. So I know what you're doing. You told me earlier, and let's leave what you said to me earlier, Dave. Right, is implanted on my brain that I can't get rid of. So thank you.
Come on, Dermo, plug the channel. I need to go.
Plug the channel. Plug the channel.
Come
Right,
on,
if
seriously.
you like what I have to say, you can find me in THFC till I die, the home of Tottenham Pats Present View. Please go over, give us a like, give us a subscription. Thank you very much for coming. Dave, piss off. Good night, Jack. Hope you're doing well.
Right. Well, look, Dermo can spend time plugging it properly in a sec. I do have to go, everybody.
No,
so
I've plugged it. I've plugged it.
To everybody out there who tuned in this evening, joining me in a bit of banter and a good conversation. I do send my apologies to Bobby K and Michael. I promise you I'll be there for you Monday and I'll get a good conversation in with you Monday. And yeah, look, guys, go and enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. As always, come on, you Spurs. See you soon.
See you, Dave.
See you, Dave.
Tron, you want to give yourself a proper plug?
Yeah, I will give myself. Yeah, if you like what I have to say, please go over to THFC till I die, home of Tottenham past, present, and future. We've got loads of things. We've got watch-alongs, pre-match, post-match. We've got loads of pre-records coming up. We've got videos of Philip while he's away and his holiday. The fighting cock on tour, as I'm calling it now. So he's away somewhere in Mexico, I think he is now. So he rang me last time I told
Mexico.
me he's gone from Miami to Colombia, Mexico, Colombia, and then to Miami. I did say to him, it sounds a bit iffy. So I don't know what he's up to.
Sounds like beautiful places to me. That's what I should be there with him. I'd be enjoying myself. That's for sure.
As Tequila says, Philip is doing his Elvis routine. He is. He's already done his Tom Jones routine over there. It's Elvis tomorrow night, so he tells me. But yeah, if you like what I have to say, please get over there and please like and subscribe here first as well. This is the mothership to my channel. So big up to the pair of the guys. And look, we'll all have a laugh and a joke. So it's all good. So come on, you Spurs.
Have a good one, Dermatron. Thanks for coming on, having your say. Very thankful for you and for what you've done for this channel and what you have contributed to this community and everything, my man. So hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And thanks for keeping us company this Friday.
No problem. Thank you for having me on. And come on, you Spurs, in Big Ange we trust. And happy Thanksgiving say to you yesterday as well, Jack, to you and your family.
Thank you, my man. Thank you, my man. All right, Dermatron, have a good weekend, brother.
You too now. Bye-bye.
All right. See ya. Everybody, do check out THFC Till I Die. Dermatron, he's always been very good to us. So please return the favor. Be good to him. Show him some support. Show him some love. Hit that subscribe. Hit that like. Head on over. Check out the content. And hopefully Philip makes his return from that Elvis tour of his. That sounds very, very fun. I would love to be in all those places. Really would be. Absolutely trade for that right now. But we're going to end off with two final guests this evening. These are going to be the last two guests of this evening. We're going to go on to our man Michael from Poland, and then we're going to end off with Bobby K out in Canada. But let's see what Michael has to say. What's up, Michael?
Thankfully, the international break is over. I don't have to watch my absolutely dreadful national team.
I was going to say, what's worse, watching Poland or England? The choice of two terrible choices, I would imagine, in terms of overall entertainment.
That's a good question, actually. Ironically, I would probably say watching England because, with Poland, I at least know that there is not much talent there, right? So even though I don't expect much, I know, I don't expect much from them, right? Whereas with England, there are some of the best players in the world in that team, right? And they are drawing 1-1 to North Macedonia. It's a different level of disappointment for me, right?
Yeah.
Well, disappointment. I'm not disappointed that England is losing, right? I don't care really. Honestly, I sometimes even find it hilarious when so many. Of course, not the fans on YouTube, but so many English fans are arrogant with the football, right? With the football team, all those jokes about it's coming home, and then they always just trip up, right? So yeah, it's honestly a bit hilarious, but yeah, of course the style of football is probably better with England, but I think it's also worth watching them, right? Poland is just a lost cause, mate.
Unless I'm making this up, I feel like Moldova played North Macedonia somewhat recently or something like that. I could be making this up, but I remember they and again, could be making this up, but if they got a favorable result, let's say against North Macedonia, put 2 and 2 together, it shows like Moldova might be better than both Poland and England at the same time. Better than both of you. But let's
don't remind me about
the
Moldova.
withdrawals. I can tell the withdrawals are real. The withdrawals of a proper football or real club football. But Spurs, we're not going to still be at our best, Michael, because the injuries, the suspensions, we still have to deal with them. And so how do you go into this game? And also, I mean, give me a bit of a preview for it, but I also want you to kind of dive into a bit of the tactical, kind of sense of this game, because Aston Villa, they play that ridiculous offside trap. It's almost, a bit over the top, you could say, that offside trap, but it's been very effective for them. So kind of a second part of my question would be, how do we take advantage of that and how do we deal with that? Because we didn't do well with it last time, I remember.
So let me, first I will start with how this game would go if we had our full strength team, right? I feel like, sometimes I give this example of like certain styles or certain teams countering other teams. For example, we always used to do it with City, right? City was slapping everyone up and they came to our stadium and never could break us down, right? And you could argue that we kind of like play the style of football under Mourinho, Jose, and Nuno that was countering what City wanted to do, right? Because you can't really like enjoy all the space that they create with all those like intricate passing, 1v1 dribbling, when literally everyone is sitting, 9 men in the box and 2 world-class strikers up top. That was like the night, right? And not to that extent, but I have a feeling that our full-strength team could do a similar thing with Villa, because I feel like Villa's strengths are their midfield and their forward line. And I feel like their back line is not really that good. If you actually look at it, it's not bad. It's nowhere near bad, right? But I think it's not like an amazing backline like City's, Liverpool's, or Arsenal's even, right? Or even ours with full strength, right? I feel like Emery employed this tactic to kind of cover for their weaknesses in an ironic way. So they always play really high up to try to exploit the offside trap, right? Because otherwise they are not really that quick, so they can't really race the attackers. They have to catch them offside, right? And I feel like with our full strength team, where I think we are better in the midfield, slightly better in the midfield than Aston Villa, right? And with our pace on the break, with Sonny, Johnson, and even Kulusevski to some extent, I feel like we could exploit that. But my worry for this game, in this like reality now, is that I'm afraid that we won't be able to establish the control in the midfield, or at least fight for control in the midfield. I think like John McGinn playing or not is a big deal. I think if he's missing, then there is like a chance for us to actually win that midfield battle. But I think like the trio of McGinn, or trio, I mean, it's not even a trio because
it's almost like a midfield four of central midfielders that they basically play, and it allows them, because I actually think, funny enough, there's the reason why the 4-4-2 I think still exists to this day, especially for a lot of teams that do set up defensively, because it kind of covers your bases where you can either sort of clog up the wings and you can have guys sort of stacked up out there that you're not getting overwhelmed there, or you can just put, like what Unai Emery does, he kind of just puts 4 central midfielders across that across that 4 line of the midfield, and it makes it tough to break it down. And when they're working as hard as they do as well, I think it is a tough thing to sort of break past. And in order to get control of the midfield, you need to sort of meet them in kind of the physical sense, and then you also need to be able to control the game, the tempo and everything. And the way that Villa play, they sort of almost consolidate and they make it very kind of I don't know, it's harder, like you say, to sort of get that onus in the game with the way they set up and everything. Also, even with that high line, right, it's then more difficult to sort of really try to build out, slowly or anything like that. When a team plays a really high line, you kind of have to play quicker. You have to play quicker because there's less space.
They aren't pressing that well, right? It's kind of ironic because when you think about teams playing high lines, right, really high lines, it's done to squeeze the field, right? Because if you limit your opponent to their own half, then there is not really much space to, to pass the ball out of the back. Because most often, like high-line teams also press really high, right? So they try to, literally push you into your own box pretty much, right? With Villa, I think it's a bit different. Of course, Watkins, Diaby, they are pressing, right? It's not that they are just standing still, right? But the difference for me is that they aren't like as coordinated with like zonal pressing, right? It's more man-to-man, and they play this high line. So I feel like their weakness is if you have like that quality to literally like make free passes and dodge all that squeezing that they do. I think you can go clean through on goal pretty much, right? Because they don't have the pace in the backline, right? I think the only one with like real pace is Matty Cash, probably. Yeah, but with Matty Cash, with Villa, he often joins the attack and plays like a pseudo right mid, right winger. So you can often catch him being up the pitch, right? So if you nick the ball off them and then try to move it quickly, they can have trouble, setting back to that line and catching you offside, right? So that's my thing with Villa. I think that, and again, I'm talking like from our perspective, what we can do. I feel like there will be a bit of quality lacking in that midfield of ours to actually like play through them quickly, and I feel like this will cause us a lot of trouble. I think we'll score goals, right? It's not. I don't think they will keep a clean sheet at our stadium, right? But this is our side of the pitch, and like now their side of the pitch, right? And their tactics. I am really worried with Dyer and Davis, like all of us are, right? It's just I can't trust those guys. It's literally impossible to put my faith in them playing well, right? I hope I'm surprised, right? I hope I'm surprised and they actually like play up to a certain standard to at least keep the goals conceded to 1 or 2 max, right?
But we can't win the game via them, right? It's going to have to be other players that sort of step up and basically play out of their skin, it feels like, in order for us to really get a result. And that's where some have said the midfield is really where, kind of our strength could lie. If we end up putting in a decent performance in the midfield against Villa, that's our best shot, I think, at being able to try to get something out of this game. We can't rely on Dyer or Davies to keep a clean sheet or to build out from the back in a positive way or anything like that. We need kind of other players that we know are good enough to be able to step up in this game. Just quickly, again, on sort of a thing about Aston Villa and the way they like to play. We have seen them, though, get exposed in certain games where just the way they try to build out, the way they sort of play themselves, you can get after it and you can actually expose them. We've seen them have some pretty shaky starts away from home. They've been a bit iffy this season as well. I saw one of the games where they played Forest, and I actually thought Steve Cooper's team actually set up really well against them because they seemed to pick out sort of like how the midfielders sort of played with each other. They kind of formed this like really sort of tight triangle where like McGinn and Douglas Luiz sort of pass it between each other, and then they sort of make this quick combination to then sort of break down the opposition. And it felt like Nottingham Forest, or whatever the reason was, they kind of figured it out, and they were making it really hard on Villa to try to get those sort of passes off, and they kept turning it over and catching them out on the break and on the transition. And when they have those two center backs playing that really defensive, or not defensive, that, defensive, what is it, offside trap? Yeah, the offside trap. It was actually, it benefits you because then, it makes the sort of the transition a lot easier because you only have two center backs that you're trying to play in behind to. And I think there is a chance that if Spurs do turn the ball over, like let's say enough times in the midfield, in sort of those areas, away from our own penalty area, I think we could actually get after them because, like you say, players like Matty Cash, Luca Digne, they can get caught, out of position. And even too, like the types of passes that they do try to make in the midfield are risky. They are risky, and we could try to take advantage of it.
So for me, there are two major ways to beat Villa, in my opinion. One of them is what you described, what Nottingham Forest did, which is basically give them the ball, right? And try to disrupt their transitions from either from defensive line to the midfield or from midfield to the forward line, right? Because as you said, they had that like flat four of midfielders. They, basically Watkins and Diaby aren't really involved in the build-up play. They are there to enjoy the pace behind the back, right, and then to link up play. It's kind of strange because like the four midfielders play between each other, and they are the main like creation hub, etc., right? And the only like passing that Watkins or Diaby do is pretty much to each other, right? So when the ball actually goes through, and one of them gets the ball, then they play like 1-2s between each other max, and one of them tries to finish the chance, right? So for me, like one way, as you said, with Forest, it's either to stop them from transitioning the ball from defense to mid or from mid to attack, right? And the second like way to beat Villa for me is what Liverpool and Newcastle did, right? Which is basically they had better quality in the midfield and they had amazing forwards. Because if you remember, like Newcastle Villa ended 5-1, it was right at the beginning of the season when everyone in Newcastle was fit, right? In Newcastle squad was fit. And they just outplayed them purely in the midfield and they exploited the fuck out of that high line, right? And same thing with Liverpool. I think it finished 3-0 to Liverpool at Anfield, right? And they did the same thing. They won the midfield battle and they transitioned quickly to Salah. I don't remember who the other two were, probably like Hakpo and
I'm not sure, but
Diaz.
they have similar weapons to what we have, right? And that they have pace, and they also, and if in the case of Johnson and Sonny, those guys I think are kind of exceptional actually at running in behind defenses. And if we have somebody, like you say, who can play quickly, pick his head up, and quickly be able to try to get it to them through that defense, behind whoever it is, I think it's Pau Torres and probably Ezri Konsa that would play for them. There is, you can get after them. And I feel like Sonny too, right? Compared to maybe Richarlison from the last time we played Villa. Richarlison was cut offside like 10 times in that game. Yeah. And there were so many chances where, yes, they are very well drilled, but if you do time that pass correctly, and if you do get it off, you can be clean through on Aston Villa. And that's where I think it's a very risk and reward system that they have, similar to us in a way, right? We play a very high risk type of style, but I think they do as well. So I hope that we can try to expose it. But it's going to be dependent on Sonny and Johnson to be disciplined, stay on side, and as well as, like you say, maybe whoever it might be, a Gio CELSO, a Kulusevski, whoever creative influence we have in the team, they need to be on it and they need to be moving it quickly.
So one thing for me that's different between like our high line and Villa's high line is that we actually have pace in the back, right? I mean, with the starting 11, right? So with Romero, Van de Ven, Porro, and Udogi, when you look at it, all four of them are actually really quick. And I think that's the difference. So we don't really play an offside trap with our high line, right? We don't play offside trap. We play like we will let you put the ball over the top because you have so much pace in the backhand that we will try to catch you and take the ball off you, right? And in that we can actually get possession away from you and start our own attack, right? Which is a bit different because what Villa is doing, as we established, is they are catching you offside on an offside trap, which results in a foul kick, right? So they start they overturn the ball with a foul kick, right? Not foul kick. I mean, like why am I forgetting the word for when you kick the ball standing still? What's the ball?
Saying you're for kicking the ball out of what? Out of what?
So when the referee blows the whistle and he puts the ball and you can then kick it from like a standing ball. It's not a foul kick. Why am I forgetting? A set piece. Sorry.
Free kick.
I don't know why I forgot the words.
It's Friday night, Michael. You're all right, my man.
Yeah, sorry. But I think that's the difference between us and them, right? But yeah, I think if we manage to put the ball behind them, I rest assured that our forward line will finish the dinner if they are given the chance to, especially Sonny. And actually Johnson has been quite, I think he's shown like that little bit of play that he had for us. I think he's shown that there is a composure in that kid, right? That he can actually like finish his dinner or actually not lose his head compared to Richarlison, for example, right? But yeah, that's the forward line. My issue, as I said, is with our defense keeping their attack out when they have the ball, and our midfield, because I'm not sure that we will have enough quality in the midfield to actually battle them, right? Because like we mentioned, McGinn might not be playing, but we are without Bissouma, without Maddison, and Ange today said that they are looking still at Pape Sarr, and that he's not
that's another huge loss.
necessarily sure that he is fit to play, right? I hope he is, right? But without Sarr, it will be what, Højbjerg, Lo Celso,
Bentancur and Lo Celso. Do you have any confidence in? I mean, Højbjerg and Bentancur have played well together in the past. They have a good relationship, so I actually don't think there will be that much of a breakdown between those two. But it's Lo Celso that's the mystery card. In that, like, we just don't know. Like, we've seen him be good for Argentina, but you look at his career at Spurs, I mean, it is underwhelming. And that's where it's probably an understatement to say it's underwhelming. And that's where it's confusing, is like, we know there is a good player in there when he plays for Argentina, but we never see it at Spurs. And this is his final chance of the final chances of the final chances that he's had at this club. And it's, you know, I guess it's up to him to take it or not, but it's a confusing one. Some have even said that they would rather see Kulusevski actually play in the midfield, or like, you know, Hill play in the midfield even instead of Gio Lo Celso. And I'm not sure. I feel like I'd be okay with that, but Ange has always wanted to give somebody a chance, and this is technically Gio's chance, I guess, to do it.
My issue with Kulusevski or Hill in the midfield is that the other one, like if we put Kulusevski in the number 10 role, then we have to put Hill on the right, which is still an unknown pretty much, right? So it's not really like solving a problem, it's moving it out wide instead of like in the central position. And on top of that, you are moving Kulusevski out of his position, which is a bit risky. I know he played there against Sheffield United when we made substitution, and he actually moved into the midfield and he played more of a central midfielder role, but it was like a 20 to 30 minutes example, right? So it's not really something that we tested a lot, right? It's not that, Kulusevski plays there every third game, every fourth game, or he's doing it constantly, right? So that's my issue with it. So I'm not sure if I would. I think I would prefer keeping Kulusevski in his position on the right and actually like giving either Lo Celso a chance or maybe someone else, right? I think as much as I don't like Lo Celso, as much as I probably want him gone, I would rather see Lo Celso in that position, because at least we can assume that's his natural position, right? And at least you are not moving him somewhere where he's not accustomed to, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think our midfield three will, if Pape Sarr is not playing, it will probably be Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Lo Celso. I just hope we don't see Skip in the starting lineup. With all due respect to Skip, I know he's our boy, from the academy, whatever, right? But no, please. Yeah. Not with Højbjerg. I think they are too similar with Højbjerg to do that job, right? I feel like them two is not working together, right? So
to be honest, even recently with Skip, it feels like anybody that's played with Skip of recent, has not looked like the best version of themselves, Højbjerg included. But I've even seen it with Maddison, I've seen it with Sarr, I've seen it with Bissouma, I've seen it with other players, where even I remember last season when Ryan Mason and was fielding Bissouma and Skip together, it felt like it was kind of just Bissouma sort of by himself in that midfield, pretty much just doing everything. And that's sort of been the trend recently, I think, with Oliver Skip. He's just had kind of sort of either anonymous performances, for the most part, or performances where you're actually kind of just scratching your head of what he's actually really doing for us or what he's really contributing with. And it's harsh to put it that way, but comparing him to the player that he used to be before that injury, he's just kind of a different player since then. He's just not really been the same. And I feel like we have to look at maybe, moving him on a loan or something like that to see if he can refine that form, because the issue with Skip just quickly is that he's only going to get minutes, sparingly, and you have to take those chances. And he hasn't exactly taken them. And even last season too, he got a lot of minutes last season, right? Because we were so kind of threadbare in the midfield after sort of, I think, Bissouma's injury. We had Bentancur's injury. So it's just Højbjerg and Skip. And for the most part, I just don't think Skip really stood out actually all that much, even above Højbjerg. And that's what he actually probably needed to do if he wanted a spot in this team, was to look better than Højbjerg. And I'm not even sure if he did that. And so, Skip for sure is somebody I wouldn't like to see. But CELSO, I guess if the time to step up, please do it now, man. Please step up now, because we need you now. We need you now. Jeez.
Nothing personal against you. I don't want you in our team because it doesn't look like you are enjoying yourself, right? It's like for your career, for your like well-being, I feel like you should move, CELSO, right? But if you want to show the world that you are still a good footballer and there is still something about you, do it now. Now is your chance. Now show us against like a really good midfield of Aston Villa that you can actually play on that level. I'm fine with it, right? And I'm fine with him playing until Maddison leaves if he shows us that he is actually like good enough for those games. I don't expect him to be as good as Maddison, right? Because that won't happen. Let's be honest about it, right? But at least show us like some of it, right? At least show us that the drop-off won't be as bad as we think it will be, right? And actually, Jacko, I don't know if you want to talk with me like further about it, but you said about moving Skip on. I'm actually, I don't know why, but I'm really excited for the January window, and I don't know if I'm just like fooling myself and buying into all the comments from the journalists and from Ange Postecoglou, but there is something in me that actually makes me excited with what I'm seeing about our approach. Because like plenty of times when we talked, I've said that I don't mind if we bring like a player of substandard quality in terms of like not a renowned name, not a star player for 80, 90, 100 million. I don't mind if we actually do our scouting properly and buy a guy for 20 million, 15 million, 10 million, 25, right? If we do our job properly. And the names that we've been linked with, and I know those are like, pretty much rumors, most of them, right? But some of the names that we've been linked with and some of the areas that we've been linked with, right? By areas, I mean areas of the pitch, right? Where we are looking to strengthen. I actually really like.
You're encouraged by, or you're encouraged by, you're feeling confident. Sebastian Cáceres or Cáceres, the Uruguayan center back, seems to be a very likely one by the looks of things, because we've been monitoring him for a while now. He plays as a left-sided center back, from what I can tell, especially for the Uruguayan national team. And he's kind of been in decent form, right? He's been called up, played in all of their games over this recent international break as well, playing under Marcelo Bielsa, which I think is a decent sort of kind of comparison to what we have under Ange Postecoglou. I'd like to be optimistic ahead of this January window. I haven't really bought into the fact that Spurs are going to be spending nothing or not doing much, like how some of the David Ornstein articles and stuff have expressed, because I think it's too soon to say that, right? Where if we do find ourselves still with a catalog of injuries and a catalog of players that are out and not available, I mean, Spurs have always been a bit reluctant to spend money, but I don't think we've ever been that stupid that we've just completely ignored, an obvious glaring, sort of kind of a hole in a squad. If we absolutely find ourselves with Van de Ven, Maddison, others still out in January, I do expect Spurs to bring in a center back. I don't think we're that crazy that we wouldn't, but I do hope that it ends up being a positive window of some kind, maybe especially with some outgoings. You could get Richarlison out the door. I really like Richie, but it looks like his time is probably done here. And I said earlier too, Michael, he's our best chance of actually getting actual cash to turn into a different player, right? Where Richarlison, if maybe you could sell him for 30 million to a club that isn't in the Saudi league, but if the Saudis were to come in, you could definitely sell him for around the same price probably that you originally bought him for. And that could be really useful cash for what we might need this January window in order to rejig the squad in whatever way we need to. Just any final observations, my man, before I do have one more guest, so I do have to talk to Bobby K, and he's been waiting patiently. But any other sort of final observations or any final points that you wanted to, get stuck into before I let you go?
I am the same with you, like about the spending in the January. I don't buy the fact that we have no money. I just feel like some people expect us to like slap 100 million on the January window. That's never going to happen. And I feel like it's kind of like tempering the expectations down, like, through the journalists, through the articles, they are like trying to calm us down, because I feel like people have this perception that all of the Kane money is still there to spend, right? So why aren't we spending it in the January? It's not going to happen that way, in my opinion. I like to look at windows and at opportunities realistically. And for me, January is not an opportunity. It's not a window where you can like ignore opportunities and where you can, ignore the financial restrictions and, and all that jazz, right? Like those big signings all happen in the summer, not without a reason, right? The reason for summer to be the time to move for those players because the season has ended, is because clubs either reach or haven't reached agreements with players, they haven't reached their goals, they have reached their goals, right? It's all because the season is resolved. During the season, like as I said, I never expect us to go for Jimenez in January, because there's no reason for Feyenoord to sell, there's no reason for Jimenez to move, and there is no reason for us to slap as much money as Feyenoord will ask for, right? So with the January window, I expect us to spend, again, like 30, 40 million. I expect us to maybe buy a center back, loan a winger, and buy someone else, maybe, for a cheap cut price deal, right?
Yeah.
That's what I expect from the January, and I will be satisfied with it, because I think what we need now is players that our scouting department looks at and says, here, this is the guy. And from what we've been getting from Ange, he's said that if somebody comes, it's because he agreed to it, right? So I would trust him if he said that, right? And if we bring in like that Dragusin guy from Genoa, the Romanian center back, right? I have never heard anything about him, right? The only thing I know about him is that he has nice potential on FIFA, right? That's everything that I know about the guy, right? But if our scouting department deems this guy good and Ange looks at him, speaks with his representatives or the player himself, and they land on the guy and say, this is the guy that we want in our team, I'm all for it. I will back him, right? That's how I approach the January window. So I hope that people don't have like some bad expectations about what's to come. But I also think it's not like we aren't going to do anything, right, in January. I expect us to bring like 2-3 players in.
Yeah, that's my speciality actually in FIFA, or the Eastern European talents. Those are my speciality. That's where I love to get stuck into. And I'm actually disappointed that Dragusin isn't actually an Escu, because one of my favorite things about the Romanians is that they're kind of like the itches, and that most of their names end in like Escu and like things like that. But his sadly does not. But yeah, he's supposed to be very, very talented, and he's supposed to be having, I think, a really good season, which is why I think actually, a lot of teams are interested in him. And also, I think since the what was it, the Parachures injury, right? Probably maybe we've now started to look more at him, with sort of kind of hidden talents. And also just quickly, like, I feel like that's where Spurs have always excelled in, are those type of signings, those type of players. I was very encouraged that one season when we were looking at Kavicha, right? When he was playing, what was it? It's like the Rubin Kazan or something like that, the team that he was playing for in Russia at the time. And I remember like I already had my eye on him and everything. And it was one of those that I felt like was such a typical Spurs signing that we actually missed out on, because I think there was a lot of pressure from Levy out, suggesting that it was like a Levy type signing, when in fact those have been signings that we've always done very well with, and signings that have actually made us, for the most part. So Dragusin, I would see as a similar one to that. Even a Sebastian Cáceres, a guy that I know nothing about. It seems like he would be also kind of like a Kavicha type of signing, where you are going after a guy that not many people are aware of yet, but maybe is just sort of bursting onto the scene, and you're kind of taking advantage of it before anybody else does. And it's something Spurs have been good at.
I legit remember that Kvaratskhelia was one of the biggest talents on Football Manager, I think 20 or 21. So, when you scout for those hidden talents on Football Manager, he was the one popping up, and so many people, like so many Football Manager players, like diehard players that are actually like put time in the game, they knew who the guy was, and then he suddenly popped in Napoli, and he was
turned out
doing
to
an
actually
absolute
be really good.
madness, right? Yeah, and he turned out to be really good, and everyone was like, "Who is this guy? How you pronounce his name?" And every Football Manager, diehard was like, "I know this guy. I signed him for X, Y, Z team, right?" So yeah.
Well, Michael, have a good weekend, my man. Are you going to watch the Premier League games with your brother or anybody?
No. I'm here in Wrocław in my flat with my girlfriend. So yeah, I will be watching tomorrow definitely, and our
Nice.
games, of course, during the Sunday period, right? But yeah,
Nice.
That's a deal for me now. So
Alrighty.
yeah.
Well, thanks for keeping me company this Friday, my man, and hope you have a good weekend, and hopefully you grab the win or some type of points that can keep us pushing around the top. Great convo as always, Michael. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Likewise, Jacko, and happy Thanksgiving, right? Because it's
Thank
Thanksgiving.
you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right.
Bye.
Have a good one, sir. See ya.
Bye.
Everybody, big up Michael. Love talking tactics. Love just talking to that guy in general. Over from Poland. Big up to Michael. We're going to end it off. Finally, he's been waiting very patiently. Bobby K, everybody, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Do get your comments in if you want to ask him or myself any final sort of questions before we wrap things up here. And also, too, early plug, please head on over to Three Spurs Boys. This man, Bobby K, it's been a while. Let's bring him on.
It has been a while. What is up, Jocko? What's happening, baby? How you doing?
Just wrapping things up, sir.
My man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, my man. Thanks. I think it's actually, despite the horrible history behind it, I think it's actually the classy, sort of holiday. Just get to spend time with family, have some good food, go to bed early.
Exactly.
Good things.
Food and
exactly
family,
what we
man.
need.
How do you go wrong with that? That's why Halloween is
Good
awesome.
recharge. Good recharge.
There you go.
Good recharge.
There you go, buddy. I do know why David ran away, though. I do know why David ran away.
Have you heard of the toy show before? It's something. It's oh. What's it?
I love Eric Dye.
Ooh. Who loves an upside down view of braces and nostrils?
Yeah,
who doesn't love
braces and nostrils?
Eric
I have to live with this. Go away.
I think you need to do a bit of flossing, my man. I think you missed a spot between the braces there.
Missed a spot between the braces.
I got too much of a personal view of the roof of the mouth.
No.
You're
good.
Take a
look.
look
Go back to your side of the room, man. You go back to your side of the room. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we'd appreciate it if you can get over to the Three Spurs Boys, get yourself a membership. It is going towards Big K's therapy.
For dire loss. Yeah,
buddy. But big up to you, man. It has been a long time. Jack, hello to everybody in the chat. Make sure you're hitting that like button, of course, showing these boys some love. David, too bad I missed him. I know he had to go. He was saying he was on a bit of a timeline there. Where we left, Jack, he kind of covered pretty much everything.
Robbie Keane,
here, right?
Robbie Keane has a good sort of place to start, and it's a way, we can incorporate Dyer into the general sort of conversation. It doesn't need to be entirely focused on him, but he's saying Ange has no option other than rather than playing Dyer again. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play, though, and don't expect anything from this Villa game, to be honest. Do you feel similar, maybe slightly similar, to Robbie here?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the issue is that I've spoken about this with Daigle as well. The issue, and a lot of people are screaming for Phillips and Dorrington to come in. I think the major issue is that Ange might have the trust in their abilities, but he doesn't have the trust in their football mindset just yet. In terms of for these games coming up and everything, there's a bit of pressure on them as well. We're doing exceedingly better than what we were expected. So these kids are going to come in under a spotlight. They're going to be expected to perform right away and hit the ground running, just because Van de Ven has already kind of set that tone already. So that being said, you don't have somebody come in beside a player that does this. And the ball's coming. What are you teaching them? You know what I mean? So that's why I think that Brian's right in the sense that Ange will bring Dorrington, Phillips in when he has Romero there, because he's been the vocal leader on that back line right now. He's the one that's been keeping things in check, kind of. He's the one that's calling Porro back to, and look how great Porro's been defensively for us this year. We all wrote him off as soon as we thought this kid's going to be our right back. Oh my God, the things that were coming out of Spurs fans' mouth, the doubt that we had in him already, and he shut a lot of us up already. So good for him. I think that's what it comes down to, is just a bit of maturity. And at the end of the day, this is a rebuild season for us. Right now, we're supposed to be 10th, Jack. We're supposed to be 3 goals scored in 12 games with 45 conceded.
This is what happens. Expectations, change. All of our original predictions go out the window. I even said at one stage, Bobby, I went from, I think I went for 6th or 7th. And then it was just a few weeks ago, I was saying I'd be disappointed if Spurs were to finish now outside of the top 4, because statistically, no team has ever done that, right, in the position that we found ourselves in. But in true Spurs fashion, we absolutely just saw every single player of importance and of significance drop in one single game. It was like an apocalypse of injuries and suspensions, and that's what can happen. And
what a great time for it to happen, Jack. What a great time for it to happen.
A silver lining
right before an international break. right at a point where players are now going to be challenged to step up. Put your money, put your money where your mouth is, kind of thing. Let's see what you got. You want 80K a week? No problem. We'll give you the 80K a week. Get your ass on that field now.
Earn it
and fill that void. This whole thing with the CELSO thing and everything. I'm, you know me, Jack. I'm the deluded optimist all the time. I've always held high hope for players. I still had a little hope for Richie.
You want to sign that apology form to CELSO. You want to sign it.
I'd love to, but I've given up on him. I've given up on Richie too. Richie at the beginning of the season, I hope maybe he'll turn good. I even had faith that Ndombele would come in, and Ange will be able to get a tune out of him. So I'm just that faith-based kind of guy when it comes to my team. I have that deluded hope, I guess is what you want to call it. But I've given up completely hope with this guy. The only time I've seen him play well for us was pretty much off the left with Mourinho. That being said, then let's do that. Let's stick Kulu in the middle. Let's stick him over on the left. Let's stick Johnson on the right. Leave Sonny in the middle and let Bentancur and Højbjerg hold because Sara is now obviously a bit of an issue as well. We're not sure if he's going to be playing as well, right? So that would be my front six, I guess, if you want to look at it from the midfield up. I'd like to see Kulu play in that number 10 role. He did well playing in Juventus. I think, was it Conte or Mourinho or even Nuno that put him in that role for a couple of games? Or Mason. It was Ryan Mason, actually. Ryan Mason threw him in for a couple of games in that role, and he actually did really well there. A lot of fans are frustrated with him because he's a one-trick pony. I really couldn't give a shit about them saying that because at the end of the day, he might be a one-trick pony, but 9 out of 10 times, that trick is working. The kid still comes out with the ball somehow. The little ginger wonder still has the ball at his feet somehow.
Is it the Arjen Robben complex, do you think? Is it like with Arjen Robben, like everybody knows he's going to cut inside, but he still does it anyway?
He still does it anyways, and he still ends up with the ball.
Yeah.
So if it's working, by all means, kid, keep doing your thing, man. Light it up. By all means, light it up, boy.
Nowadays, too, every player is so one-footed anyways that it is kind of more rare, it feels like, to come across anybody that is sort of a two-footed type player. So I agree with you that Kulusevski, while being slightly frustrating in his one-sided nature, it's been pretty effective for the most part, in most games. And I think the only thing I get slightly frustrated with him is actually just a lack of real clinicalness when it comes to in front of goal. I think he's good at setting up chances for others, Kulu, but sometimes you're like, man, just fire it, just shoot it, And recently, he got that goal against Chelsea, and that was great for us. But recently with Kulu, that's where I think he would shut up some of those haters that you're referring to if he got maybe just 1 or 2 more goals, I think, this season. And I think he wouldn't have that type of pressure on him.
He even got that goal that was deflected a couple of games back. I can't remember who it was against now. And even then, people were still giving him a hard time. It's like a little bit of luck. And that's what they wrote it off to, that it wasn't skill, that it was basically luck and the ball was deflected, blah, blah. I don't care. The ball went to the
Do you like Brennan Johnson so far? Do you like him?
I do. There's things about I like him on the right. I haven't been too keen on him on the left. I know when he came on against Liverpool, I think it was that when was it Arsenal he came on against first?
First game ever was against Arsenal, right? And we started him in that game.
That was his start. We played Liverpool before that, right? No, Jesus Christ.
Played Liverpool, I believe after that, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I think we played Liverpool after that.
He started the Liverpool game, didn't he? He came on.
Started the Arsenal game, and I think in Liverpool, I think he came on off the bench. He could have, or
I thought it was the other way around. Sorry, I thought he started the
was.
Liverpool game. I thought he came in off the bench against Arsenal, and he scored that offside goal right away.
No, Arsenal was actually more of a frustrating one because remember he missed a bunch of chances. I think he missed a bunch of chances against Arsenal. That was frustrating because that was one where it felt like he was actually sort of playing well and that he was finding himself in good positions to score. Like he could have actually had a brace, I think, against the Gooners, but just wasn't really.
He's looked like
was
a bright
nervous
light
or something.
At the end of the day,
a lot better.
He's looked like a bright light. He's a young kid. He's got oodles of potential, it seems. He's playing with a smile on his face. He comes out there and he offers us something.
More clinical than Richie, too, you would say. And so far this season, he has been more clinical. He's gotten the assist or gotten the goal, and Richie hasn't.
Geez, you see that miss against Luton. Right now, even I'm more clinical than Richie.
And or at least what's funny is I think Richarlison and actually Darwin Nunez, must be related, in some sort of fashion, because I think they're quite funny and their ability to miss good easy chances, and especially both against Luton, they missed great chances. They must have something in common.
Frustrating though.
What are your kind of thoughts on maybe the pressure around Ange? There has been some, questions about his. Yeah. What do you make
There
of that?
shouldn't be any. There shouldn't be any. The fact that there's pressure on him is because he's exceeded set expectations already from
So,
us
yeah, you
as a
don't think
fan
he's
base kind of
naive or
thing.
anything? That's the thing that's been thrown at him, is that he's naive.
Well, if he's naive, then so be it. Let's learn. As long as he learns from his mistakes and everything. He's made changes that we have questioned as fans and stuff, but they seem to have worked out. I know everybody's kind of pissed off about the whole Chelsea fiasco with him playing the high line when we were 2 men down still, and back there, of course, is not the kind of guy you play a high line with, and we paid for it. But in that situation, you're going to have your 50-50s. 50% of the people say that he was right. He should have gone for it. By all means, yeah, hell yeah, let's go down fighting. And 50% that said no, we should have parked the bus and put 9 men in the box and just held out for a 1-goal loss versus a 3-goal loss.
Yeah.
Bullshit. If you got the, because he did what he did, Dyer almost scored. And in fact, that goal would have counted if VAR could get their shit right, because it went off a Chelsea player. So,
True.
I've got no issues with Ange at all personally. I think he's just so refreshing compared to what we've had to face for the last 3.5, 4 years of painful football. After Poch, it's just been doom and gloom. We've had this horrible black cloud surrounding the entire club. We've watched players, just lose faith, lose passion, lose any kind of love for the badge, it seems, any kind of love for the game itself even. We got players like Ndombele who have all this oodles and oodles of talents that just can't be bothered to try. We have glassmen like Cess that just seem to go elsewhere and do okay, and as soon as they put on a Spurs kit, back in the medical room again.
Isn't it amazing how many players have picked up injuries after him and still returned before him? I almost find that a bit suspicious. What's that? I've seen Bentancur, returned sooner than him. Who was it as well? Like, there was another player that returned just sooner than him and picked up an injury months after him as well. And it's a bit suspicious, I would say.
Yeah, because he's been injured since the day we bought him.
Didn't Ali Gold too say something like he was supposed to have returned a whole month ago or something like that, and still Ange
I
just
thought he was
saying,
projected
he's
to
weeks
come back
away.
in May. From the initial reports, from what I remember, we were looking at something. In his original report, he was supposed to be back last May. So here we are 6 months later, and he's still not training even.
He didn't even play at all during the preseason, if I'm not mistaken. And
I don't think he's even doing full fitness training yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. You know how much I follow all this stuff. Really, yeah, I rely on you guys. You're
probably, but I just he's been. Sometimes you're like, geez, you're reminded that guy exists, right? He's one of those sort of players. Oh yeah, that's fine. That's right. He plays for Spurs. That player.
Well, it's like Spence. You know what I mean? We could recall Spence on loan come January if we needed some help on the right side. We got Rodon's out there as well. And apparently he's killing it with Leeds right now. So who knows if he would do better in an Ange system. Systems change, players react differently. Some players are not responding, and at the end of the day, they need to be cleared out. It makes me sick to think that Lloris is sitting on the bench getting paid what he's getting paid to do absolutely nothing. It makes me sick to think that possibly in January, Ndombele might return, and he's going to be our highest paid player on the team, and he's going to sit there and do jack shit. What kind of mentality does that breathe through the club? That by being a piece of garbage and not putting an effort, I can just sign my big money contract, sit back here and watch you boys work for your paycheck while I do nothing for mine. What kind of mindset? If I'm a youngster, if I'm Phillips at 18, if I'm Dorrington's 17, 18 himself, these young kids are there. Van de Ven's 21, 22. Udoji's 19, 20. These kids are earning their paychecks out there. And they see this crap bag sitting there with his McDonald's and his Big Mac, chuckling away, having a good old time. It creates a bad environment, is what I'm concerned about. We've just finally, I think why we're so happy right now is because we were under such this big, heavy black cloud that we thought Ange is just the ray of sunshine. It's the beginning. It's the start of something. It's gonna be a long time before those clouds are parted. But my man came in like Moses with the Red Sea and parted those clouds, and has given us Spurs fans a life, passion again. We're excited. We want international break to end so we can play.
That's the theme that I'm getting from you here, Bobby, is that Ange has given you this new lease of life. He's given you this new sort of breath of fresh air, and you're sort of kind of like, come on, guys, let's just still enjoy it, right? No need to all of a sudden put pressure on him. We're still almost in the honeymoon phase, feels like.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that 4 months in, 5 months in, we're going to look at putting pressure on this guy in any form. In reality, Kane gone, Lloris gone. Our captain and our best player are gone. Gone. New manager, no name, nobody that's been in crap league, that hasn't accomplished anything.
Off the
He's
back
here
of a
now.
terrible season, where nobody feels good about the club or anything like that too. That also plays like a huge role too, like the mentality of sort of the players and everything like that, and the club too. And also just quickly, what you said about Tanguy is actually right in that if he comes back in January, he does sort of
He's coming back, buddy.
he disrupts that. What would you call that sort of, hard mentality that we're sort of developing right now? We have a good culture inside that dressing room, and he could affect that, and he could hurt that with just his complacency and his sort of lack of
you and I
caring.
work together. We worked together for 5 years. We got 5 other guys that work with us, all hard workers. 7 of us every day come in. We put in 90% even. We get our job done. Joe Blow comes in, number 8, and comes in and does absolutely nothing and is getting paid more than us. It is not
Bad
long
culture
before
leads to
you and I start pointing the finger at each other and say, Jack, what are we doing here, man? Why are we working so hard?
True. It's true.
It's human nature, man. It's not about the fact that they're football players, they should be professionals, but they're kids at the end of the day. They're kids that are having a lot of money thrown at them, a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations. Hence the reason you kind of it's tough to balance. When do you put these kids under the fire? When do you throw them into the frying pan? Like the way when I look at Van de Ven and what he's done and the way he's hit the ground running, I tell you now, Jack, I've said it on other channels, I'll say it right here. That man would make me switch teams. I absolutely adore this boy. Teddy Sheringham's my
he's
favorite
blown you
player.
away that much. Yeah.
He is. He has. I absolutely when he pulled up in that Chelsea game, and I saw that. You could ask the boys that are watching the game with me. That to me has been our worst injury so far. That's the one that scares me the most, kind of thing, because I think this kid is that amazing that he's one of the biggest reasons our back line has become solid. He gives players the ability to get up front because they're going to attack and he's going to be able to get his ass back because he's so damn fast. He's given Romero a partnership that can say, yo, it's okay, bro, I got your back. Instead of you have to cover the right back position and the left center back position. So you're going to go make wild, crazy decisions. You're going to make rash tackles and everybody's going to wonder how crazy you are. But now you can settle down and play your game properly. Romero had one bad game where he made a couple of bad decisions. He reverted. Oh my God, a teenage boy makes a stupid decision. Good. Learn from it. Because if we look at where Romero was last year at this point, how many fouls he's created, how many cards he's gotten, how many dangerous tackles, I would bet money. I would bet my house that number would be significantly higher than what it is this year. At the end of the day, the kid's got better. He's got smarter. He's playing better football. He's playing attractive football. He's vocal back there, which is something we've really been missing. I love the fact that Ange has done that Romero, Madison, Son link up with the captain's armbands kind of thing, so that you have that basically a line right through the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, good point.
There's a communication.
Good point.
And direction. And that's one thing I think we're really missing, because I know you guys said a lot.
We're missing
our
2 other captains. Sonny's on his own right now. Yeah, we're missing our 2 other leaders. Yeah.
But then we need vocal guys to come in, right? We need people that are going to at least step up and play the role. That's why I say, for me, if we're forced to play CELSO, which I'm not keen on at all, then let's put him where we've seen the best out of him in a Spurs shirt. Throw him on the left.
Okay.
Because the left side for us hasn't been that wonderful this season. We've seen Solomon, we've seen Richie, we've seen Johnson there, we've seen Sonny there, we've seen nobody has owned that spot yet. Let's give this kid the chance and let's see if maybe he can come in and own that spot, because for some reason when he came in for us and he played there, he did really, really well over there. So I'd like to see him take the left. I'd love to see Kulu drop into a 10, and I'd love to see Johnson go wide right. So we got that poor old Johnson link up super pace side where we could just shred teams the way Liverpool used to with Trent and Salah. You know what I mean? With them 2 overlapping each other all the time.
Good point.
One or the other always just blasting in there kind of thing. You don't know which one to pick up because the other one goes flying by you. You know what I mean? Great.
Even if you're
I grabbed this one, but then boom, what the hell was that? Another white jersey just skimmed right by. That's what I want to see. I love that stuff, right? But I who knows what Ange is thinking? At the end of the day, he's the boss of the team. I've got the FIFA mentality, of course. Well, if I do this on FIFA, we're really fast and I can attack the right side. So, that's what I'm kind of hoping for. But
I was going to ask just ahead of this game, just a quick sort of maybe leads into sort of, your score prediction of some kind. Do you see this being a high scoring game because of kind of the fact that our defense is a little shakier, but also, right, Aston Villa, they do play that very high line, and away from home, they have been exposed actually by certain teams, for it. So could this be a basketball game, or is this going to be, at least that's my hope, is that if Spurs are going to get out of this, I could see it being like a 4-3, a 3-2, something like that. How do you see this game, going down?
I actually pre-prediction was already at 3-1, only because, like you've already touched on, they play such a high line. That's why I said we have to start Johnson. We have to start Johnson. We need a player that's just going boom, boom right by them, and that's why I'd like to see him on the right and have him and Porro do those overlaps that you were kind enough to explain to me and the kids. Now I don't even know what overlap means. So I'd love to see
Wait till
that.
you get into underlaps.
What? Hey, that's something I used to do. That's a different club we'll talk about. Yeah, I'd love to just see them absolutely shred that line.
Yeah.
I know. I always butcher his name. Lucas Dignia.
Yeah, Luca
Digna. So I know him,
and
Douglas
Cash.
Luiz, and I think it's Kamara are all on their last chances for cards. So they're one card away from suspension. So he plays left back for them. That's why I'd like to see the right side attacked.
Because he's going to have to, because they don't want him to pick up a suspension.
A hard tackle. Exactly. Yeah. He's going to want to play it smart. And
they're going to
try
to avoid
player,
that.
Yeah, so I think he's going to try to avoid that. So that's why
make it uncomfortable for him, make it difficult.
Hell yeah, as much as possible, man. Make that kid absolutely hate being on the pitch that day. Make him hate the color white. Make him hate Tottenham Stadium. Make him hate that cockerel coming right at him. I want him to go to bed that night having nightmares of this little angry chicken attacking him in blue. That's what I want to see. It's going to be fantastic. That's the only way we can kind of really, because I don't see with that high line. Do you really see Kulu? And if CELSO is played on the left, those guys don't have the pace to be going and beating a high line. By the time they get up there, they start moving forward. That team has enough pace that their line is going to get back. Tyrone Mings is not a slow player. He will get his ass back. Matty Cash is not a slow player. Digna is not a slow player. Pau Torres is not a slow player. These guys are going to get their asses back. Right. So that's why I'd like to see the extra pace. But
yeah, I agree. Definitely agree with that. And Sonny too, right, is also, of course, somebody who has that pace and I think more or less the timing of the runs of his are always so brilliant. Like if anybody's going to be an offside trap, I think it would be Sonny, because anytime he even is offside, it's always a toenail, it feels like, whenever he's offside. So I hope that he can expose them as well. Any other sort of final observations, my man, before I give yourself a plug?
That's pretty much it, Jack. Honestly, I think we just the only hope in hell we have is to be on the attack. Do what he did against Chelsea, where he basically has said, "Look, we got our backs against the wall. We are weak back here, but we're not weak up there. So let's keep the ball up there. Let's keep the ball in the stronger players' feet. Let's keep the ball up there with Sonny. Even with Kulu, he has a great ability to hold the ball up. Right? He's excellent at that. So that's what's frustrating to me sometimes, because when we really want him to just take the ball and go, he'll hold it up and wait for players to join. But sometimes you do need that as well. So that's why I'd like to see as much pace come in our wings. For me, I'll be honest with you. I'll be happy with Davies starting as a left back. I'll be happy with Royal starting as a right back. I'll be happy with Johnson starting at left wing and Porro up at right wing. Just really push that pace right at them. Porro can cross the ball in. He's got that great first cross.
True.
I'd like to see him take on his buddy. Pau Torres is left center back. So that means
does he have a buddy on the Aston Villa team?
No, Pau Torres, right? So it's just thinking him and CELSO. I'd like to see them go against each other, but no, they wouldn't, because Torres would be on the other side of the field.
No, but it's true though. I think CELSO and Pau Torres, right? They had spent time together at Villarreal. That's a good point. And funny enough, Villarreal seems to be the sort of lone option for a lot of Spurs players. So many Spurs players have gone to Villarreal. So
hey man, come on now. You and me wouldn't have a problem hopping on a plane to Spain right now, especially where we live.
It's lovely over there. It's lovely over there. They have a nice stadium as well, actually. I think they're the Yellow Submarines or whatever they're called. The Villarreal team. I have a soft spot for them.
Pretty sure they are, yeah.
3 Spurs boys. Anything coming up, sir, that Irish Hotspur should know about, that people got to see? What can't they?
Yeah,
Tell
we
us
can
what's
come
coming
check
up.
out the kids. The boys got their own show. They do a weekly recap show, which is just a quick cap of all the games, all the scores, and everything. And then they do the little their game predictions for the upcoming week, and then they do a little thing that they put together. It's called the Gold Standard. So they'll go give their player ratings with a guest, and they'll compare it to what Alistair's ratings are and stuff. It's just a quick little
Nice.
half-hour show kind of thing. Something that they started doing on their own. They started doing a little bit of the FIFA gameplay and stuff as well, but
Nice.
I'm terrible at setting all that stuff up, so I gotta get on that a little bit better for them, set them up better. And then of course we have the Coov and the Kang show every other Saturday night, where that's more of an adult show where we just kind of act as foolish as we can. We talk about football for about a half hour, and then an hour of stupidity after that. It's just your Saturday night pub kind of show where you're having a drink with the boys.
Good.
Bring your doobie, bring your beer, bring your drink of choice, whatever makes you happy and relaxed, and join us for a laugh, man. But that's the link right there. 3 Spores, boys. Would love for you guys to get over. But Jack, really good to see you, man. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, it's been a
Hopefully
long
you're well.
time,
Hope
my
your
man.
family's
Good
well,
chat.
my man.
Good chat, and I hope you have a
Always
good
good.
weekend, and I hope we get to celebrate at least a point or something. We just get to move on to the next game, move on to the next one after that, and then by then, after a few games, we'll have most of our big players back, and we'll be flying high once again. But let's try to get through this weekend. Let's get a good result.
No try, no hope. You're using the wrong words, buddy. I'll talk to you after we win on Sunday.
Yeah, there we go. Well, then I'll see you
baby.
Monday
That's
for a good
it.
chat.
3-1 Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Let's go, baby.
Come on, you Spurs.
Choo,
Well done, Bobby.
baby. Get on that ANGE train.
Will do, sir. Well done, my man. Great call.
Yeah,
Thanks
big
for
up,
wrapping
Pat.
it up.
Make sure everybody hits the like button here, all right? Show these boys some love. And David, if you're somewhere out there back there, missed you, buddy, but hope you're well. Big up to you and Emily, man. Take care of yourself.
He's in his PJs watching some toys. Big up to you, Bobby. Have a good weekend, my man. See you soon.
Yourself, brother. Take care.
Everybody, big up to Bobby K. Big up to the 3 Spurs boys. Thanks to Bobby as well for closing out the show here. He acted as the closer. Tough role to do, but he was able to pull it off very well, everybody. And do head on over to 3 Spurs boys. Looks like the next show that's going to be happening is that Coov and the Kang show tomorrow night with the one and only Coov 99 and Bobby K. Like he said, a bit of chat about the footy, but then also to just get, have a nice, silly sort of Saturday night. And I think a lot of people, need to relax, have a nice recharge, whatever it is that, they can take their mind off of things. So head on over there. 3 Spurs boys. You know where to go, everybody. But we'll wrap it up over here. Really good to have you all for the fan show tonight. Plenty that came on, which is nice to see. Friday shows as well. And I know people, whatever it is that you have planned on the weekend, it's nice that so many of you guys came to still have a chat with us, keeping us company, and really did have some great call-ins today. Felt like a lot of people really did have some great things to say. A lot of good energy tonight as well. Really do appreciate as well Faz Radfar, Bobby K from earlier, DJ Samuel as well, Dell Support, Moondog, Keith Edwards, Wemberley One as well for supporting the channel in an extra way. It does really keep this channel moving. It keeps this channel ticking. And we do appreciate anybody who supports this channel in any way that they can, whether it's a comment, a like button, or whatever it is that you can provide. But it really has been a nice show tonight. I think I'll wrap it up there, and we'll see you on we'll see you on Sunday for the watch along and pre-match build up that will be led by Dave. And also too, if you're a member, check out Fantasy Update will be available for all of you guys. Our pre-match thoughts are about to go up as well for all of you guys. So do stay tuned for that for all the members only. But I'll leave you there, everybody. Come on, you Spurs. In the Big Ange we trust. We never stop. I'll be seeing you. Have a good weekend, everybody. Take care, people, like Meta Football TV has to say. There you go, everybody. We'll see ya.
Everywhere we go.